Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Honeyflow Show. Hope you guys are doing well for a Wednesday. We got a real special guest on coming on with us as well. He's such a character, you guys. But before I talk a little bit about him, just want to salute all the women for International Women's Month as well. Salute to all you guys. We're on our third panel. So for all you guys that don't know, I've interviewed close to 40 women I'm going to be interviewing and showcasing for International Women's Month this month. We just finished our second panel. So if you guys get a chance, check it out. That was a few days ago. It was over 1,000 people that viewed that. It was such an amazing panel of women. The next women's panel I'm going to have is 2 p.m. to about 5 p.m. this Monday and also Thursday. So this panel is going to be extra special because I got some real powerhouse women of not only on Twitch, but some mentors of mine I'm going to be bringing on. We got She's First Lady T-Rail. We got Dr. Dady Priest, Bright Eye Sunflower. We got Patricia, that's a teacher and a mentor and also worked for the police department and just retired after 30 years there. We got a good friend of mine, Suzette, and another amazing friend of mine, Marilyn. And I'm telling you guys, it's like Maya Angelou times 7 women. That's how it's going to be this Monday. So we're definitely going to dig deeper with these ladies, and I'm really, really excited. This panel I'm most excited about because I know these are powerhouse women, and they're definitely going to go really deep with me, and we're going to talk with a lot of real issues surrounding being women country to country, from the Netherlands to the States to Canada, and where they're at as well. So definitely come through and support that. But we have the next guest coming on, you guys. He's really special. He's such a joker. He's hilarious, and he does a great show. I mean, he's killing it. He's, been in the army, so we're definitely going to talk about that. He's lived in so many places, which is quite interesting. He's from Arizona, but he's lived in Cali, Phoenix, New York, Spain, Japan. The list goes on. Antonio, wow, Mississippi, back to Japan again, Dubai. That's actually quite interesting. So it kind of shows that he's very versatile. And there's a lot more countries like Alaska, the Philippines, Thailand. So we're definitely going to be talking to him about that. And he definitely seems like a great family guy. He's a little flirty. I'm not going to lie. He's a little flirty. So we're going to talk about that too. And he's got the best curls on Twitch. So I may get him to do something later on the show. Little does he know. DJ D-Lex, he's got over 20 years experience. Seems like a great father and a great family guy. He brought his sons online, guys. Oh my gosh, they look like giants. They're so big. Okay, he's got the best curls next to this girl, Xtina. I don't know who has better curls. It's a tie-up between them two because I legit stalked his picture on Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, that guy has some really like nice curls. And then I looked at this girl Xtina's picture and I'm like, oh wow, they both got really nice, bouncy, lushy curls. So if anyone knows, I got a thing for curls. So when I see some good curls, you got to tell them they definitely got a good bounce to the ounce with their hair. Honeyflow wishes I had a little bit of curl in my hair. But anyways, let's bring on DJ Lex as well from Arizona. Let's bring him in.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm okay. And yourself?
Good. Are you still in Mexico or did you get back?
No, I'm back now. I'm 100% back.
How long?
I got back late Monday night.
Yeah. How long were you there for?
5 days total. I could have been there longer, but since my son didn't go with us, didn't stay as long as I normally would. I normally go a day up before I start and a day after, just kind of like take the day before and day after the events. But my son got a little trouble at school, so can't reward bad behavior. So we definitely didn't take him on the trip. So just me, his sister, her best friend, which was her ex-roommate from college, and her best friend from Tucson. We all went down. And that was
cool. Nice.
It was me and 3 20-year-olds.
Wow. So they must have had a lot of fun. Were you trying to pull them out of trouble or were they trying to pull you out of trouble?
No, I just kept an eye on them. That's pretty much it. I have friends that have retired down there. So like everything they do. Like they want to go to these different places, and my friends look after them. So, and all the bouncers know them now. Like we've been going down there for the last 3 or 4 years. So everywhere we go, they'll look. Oh, just these ones today, okay, and then they look after them on the street and stuff.
Nice. So how do you feel doing the parties there? Like what exactly were you doing it on a resort? I was trying to catch you to see if I could see what you were doing, but
So I played a place called Banditos, which sits on like the far side of the peninsula, but it sits next to like a lot of the resorts and condos from the American side. So a lot of them party over there. There's also a big college bar down there called Chongos, and it's right across the street. So a lot of parents party where I'm at, and the kids go across the street. But a lot of kids still stay where we're at too. So it's like I played college here for many years, so it's like playing on a college avenue because you're gonna have the guys going to the game that are older, and then the younger kids and the families and stuff. So basically mingling with everybody.
okay, nice. And
Yes, ADMC, I'm at my crib. You were
how you
calling me,
guys
but I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
how you guys doing? Yeah, it's ADMC. So for all you guys that don't know, we're on my channel under DJ Honeyflow, but he's also hosting to his channel. So anyone sitting in his room, I mean,
Alex.
feel free to eat popcorn and everything there. But the party and the comments are all on my channel today, interviewing him. If you guys got any questions for him, drop it in the chat too. But I see Sapphire, ADMC. We got this girl Xtina, Tiania in the building as well. DJ IQ Music. Good to see you.
Come over.
We got Ms. Gigi in the building. Who else? And everyone else coming through. Thanks for coming through. Hey, we got DJ Deuce in the building. Sapphire to Miss Gigi. Good to see all you guys too. Thanks for coming through. So how did you get that gig in Mexico? I'm curious. Was it just like networking or talking to people out there,
It's a
or
combination of a lot of things. Number one, I DJ a lot of parties out here with another DJ that I kind of gave him a lot of gigs over the years. So right before COVID, that March, right before the big shutdown, we were in Mexico. We actually crossed the border the next day. They went into lockdown. If
wow?
we didn't cross the border that day, if we would have said, "Hey, let's stay an extra day," we would have got quarantined in Mexico. So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
um, the next year, he didn't want to go. The particular DJ didn't want to go. So I said, "Do you mind if I reach out to them?" So I reached out to him because I'd got his info when I was down there. And what happened was he actually reached back to me before to ask me to do New Year's Eve. And then the New Year's Eve gig turned into when spring break again. And then as things opened up, just been going down there every year ever since. And usually it's 3 to 4 days, sometimes 5 days for spring break. Next year he wants me to do 10 days for spring break. And then New Year's Eve, it just depends on when New Year's falls. Like
Yeah.
last year, New Year's fell on a Sunday. So I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Might as
Wow.
well utilize the weekend. But I think this year New Year's on Monday or Tuesday, so I'll probably only be there like the day of and the day after or something. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
And how would you
Mm.
say the parties are compared to where you're from in Arizona? Like, rate in Mexico?
Well, Tucson, first of all, is a town. It's not really a city. So parties here, the biggest club probably here could probably hold 500 or 600, but it don't get 500 or 600 people. So average party here in Tucson is 200 or 300. That's like big.
Mhm.
And so down there is about the same. So it really feels the same. And the place I play at is so spread out because there's like, if you want to sit outside and just relax, you can. There's also a little beach area if you want to walk around the beach. So you don't necessarily have to be inside, but still get to vibe with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate it just because also I like playing for diverse crowds. I don't like playing for one dimensional crowds. Like out here, I used to do a reggae night and I loved and hated it because it's like I don't want to get put in a box. I don't like being told like this is it because you might see some Latins in the room. You're like, I know if I play this, they'll enjoy it, and I know if I play this, and that's kind of like why I'm popular at that particular bar, since it is such a diverse crowd. There's the locals, there's people that come in for spring break, then there's the Americans who just live there who always just go to that bar, and then you got the spring breakers. So I was telling the guy last time I was there, I said, hey, you guys realize what he was like, I saw what you were doing, but I was trying to understand. I said, I could pack your dance floor all night, but your bar's not gonna make any money. So I try to rotate that group of people, the locals, the kids, and the adults. So they're drinking and dancing, in spurts.
Yeah. Have you like had any crazy situations? Because everyone's on party mode,
Um,
out there too. So have
Craziest thing
you
I
had
ever
any?
have happened to me in Mexico was I ended up going viral on some girl's TikTok. So I didn't even have TikTok at the time. I didn't find out till somebody showed it to me. Is this you? And I was like, oh wow, it is me. Um, and what that was the whatchamacallit, the guy I was DJing with, he was married, and they were like, can we kick a picture kissing the DJ? So we thinking they're gonna like lean in and kiss the cheeks, you know what I mean? And so he's like, well, I'm married, he's married, and then they're like, well, he's like, but he's not. So he's shooting the video for him, and I do this to like take the picture, and they both just lean in and kiss me, like. But it says in the TikTok reel, it said what happens in Mexico doesn't stay in Mexico. We kiss the DJ to bring in the new year, right?
Oh man. Like wait, it was a guy and a girl that
No, it
kissed
was two
you?
girls. It was two girls. It
Oh,
was
it
two
was two
girls.
girls? Like,
Yeah. So I was like, whatever. Because again, I thought it was.
that
I've taken
sounds
pictures before. They
that
kiss you
sounds
on the
that
cheek. Can
sounds
you take the
spicy.
picture? And I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's gonna be whatever.
So they
But
went
the
in,
way
they
the
both went
caption,
in for a kiss?
yeah, both of them.
I
Same,
need to
like,
see that video. Send me that video. I'm
I
curious.
I don't
Were you
I didn't even have
shocked?
TikTok
Were you
then. I
shocked?
didn't have Tik. No, I was just like, I'll take the picture, no problem. I thought it was just a picture. I didn't know it was
Well,
actually gonna
but
be a
when they
video.
came in, when 2 girls came at you and tried kissing you, were you shocked?
Well, yeah, but my face leans back. But from the video, even if they kiss me or didn't kiss me, it still looks like, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I come out and like there's lipstick all over me. So they did it on purpose. Like they put like lipstick on them and did all that. So there's like all these kisses on me. And then they went viral. I didn't know until like that was like 2020, 21, whatever it
Oh,
was.
snap, it went
And then a
viral?
year later, 2 years later, I'm at a party and this guy goes, "Is this you?" And he turns the camera. It was like 100 and something thousand views. And I didn't get TikTok till this year. So I was like, oh
Wow.
shit. And then I was like,
That's
yeah,
so
that's me. And I said, I guess some people seen that. And that was it. But if it ever shows up, I'm sure one day it'll probably pop up in my feed now that I'm on TikTok. Unless the government closes it down, then I won't be able to do that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm glad that's never happened to me. I usually
Yeah,
just
that was the weirdest thing in Mexico. And
I mean,
honestly,
maybe it's not like where you're just like, "Oh," you wouldn't be like me, like, "I'm glad it didn't happen to me." You're probably like, "Oh,
why
I'm the
you would have
man.
lost your shit?
I'm the man." Yeah, probably. I mean, the
I try
only
to keep it professional. I knew they were drunk and they laughed and they walked right off the stage. Like it wasn't even like you know, and my friend just laughed at me. He was just like, look what happened to you, But it was whatever. It
Yeah.
is. And then, but other than that, no, I mean, the kids are cool. I have kids that are their age. So, like, I kind of, all my daughter's friends call me for advice. All my daughter's friend, my daughter's friend today literally got fired from his job and he comes in my house to ask me, how do I do unemployment? How do I do this? How do I do that? What's my next step? What is your recommendation?
Mhm.
So, a lot of my daughter's friends, my son's friends don't have dads. So I get blessed with a lot of, extended children that look to me for guidance or help, or I've had some live with me for periods of time where they have nowhere to go. You know, my
Oh,
daughter's
that's good.
boyfriend, who she
That's
recently broke
amazing.
up with, he lived with us since he was like 16,
Mhm.
because he had nowhere to go. And started off on the couch, and by the time they were graduating high school, he was in the room. Because I was like, I know what y'all doing. It's like, and he went up there to visit her after she went to college. Said he was coming back, but he packed all his shit. So I was like, he ain't coming back,
Oh,
and
wow.
never came back. And but she's looking forward, and he's still trying to figure things out. So
Mhm.
she's maybe one day our paths will meet again. But in the meantime, I'm out. So
Yeah. How do you find also, like, as a single dad? Because I know you mentioned, and I was gonna leave it to a little bit later as well, but,
it's all good.
now that we're kind of on the topic,
And since you brought it up,
we're gonna we're gonna Barbara Walters him, guys.
man,
So, yeah, I was just curious, like, what's it? Because you said 3 sons that you're raising, right?
well, so I have one biological son, and then I have two godsons, and then I also took on my daughter's boyfriend, who's like my son, and then my daughter's best friend, who's like my son. So
Wow.
Like all my daughter's friends and my son's friends, they don't call me Mr. Smith. They don't call me Lex. They don't call me Alex. They all call me Padre.
Mm-hmm.
And they started that like when they were
And what
little.
does that mean? Just dad or?
Padre means dad in Spanish.
Hmm.
So,
Nice.
so
So,
people say, "Is that your dad?" No, that's my padre. So and padrinos is your godparents in Spanish. So
mhm.
padre is kind of like the in between, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a blessing because, like, it also keeps me connected to my kids because since their friends lean on me, then my kids tend to have more confidence in me to lean on me because, like, well, my friends can find my dad, so I can. Or a lot of times they'll say, "Call my dad." Like their friends are in a jam or broken down or can't figure something out. 80 knows. 80's come to my house and streamed and ate and hung out, watched Super Bowl, whatever. But that's Uncle 80. Everybody calls
Mhm.
him Uncle. He calls everybody nephew and nieces, and same thing. They know they can go to Uncle 80 for anything too. So um, I'm a firm believer, and it takes a village. I'm not a firm believer in just like if you think about it, like the Native Americans, the Islanders, the Aborigines, everybody, the way they grew up is by looking after one another.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I run my house. Everybody pulls their own weight, everybody does their own thing, and if somebody sees something needs to get done, just take care of it. There's no reason for us. PK with the biddies, thanks, fam.
Yeah. Thank
We're
you so
over on.
much,
I finally add that to my page. Your link.
DJ PK. Appreciate you. We got Kina from Zone in the building, Ms. Gigi as well. We got Chicken Rackins, a lot of new people, new faces, and some older faces here too. Appreciate you guys coming through. If you're on his page, definitely make your way to my page. That's where all the comments are too. We got ADMC, another great guy. Make sure you're adding him. He does a great show too. Let's see here. DJ Diamond Lee. Good to see you. Thank you, fam, for those bits in the sub. I think I mentioned it like 20 minutes later from my last show because it was so busy and I missed a lot. So salute. I appreciate you. Make sure everyone's adding DJ Diamond Lee. He's another great guy, great family father as well to his kids. So it's all boys, like all boys you're raising?
My daughter is 20,
Daughter?
so she left to
Okay.
college, and
Yeah.
when she left, she's the oldest out of all of them. So when she left, um, like a lot of the older boys that were my daughter's friends still would hang out with my son. Like, because the same thing is like they looked at my son as their little brother. So like,
Mhm.
like when he got in trouble in school, they all called him, they all talked to him, they all were like, "What are you doing? Like,
Oh, that's
you know
good.
better. Like, you got it good. We didn't have it good. Like, we made mistakes when we were because he's always like, well, you guys like, yeah, but we had a shitty life. Like our dads wasn't around, people weren't taking care of us. Our moms were drinking. Like, you know, my parents moved here about 5 years ago, I think it was, to be more involved in my life because I was going through my divorce. I just moved out here. I just took the kids on full time. My daughter's getting ready to go to high school and junior high. So my parents, military, they grew up everywhere. So they were like, time to retire, get close to the family. So they came out here. When they came out here, my parents started helping me with my kids. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they would take my kids so I could do what I had to do. The weekends, my daughter and my son would stay home alone, but my daughter, she was responsible. This guy, I can't leave him home alone on the weekends. So that's why I don't even DJ on weekends anymore at all because I'll probably be a grandpa. So let's just be real.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah.
yeah, he's a little girl magnet. And
Oh,
first time I took him
uh-oh.
to Mexico at 14, 21-year-old woman
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah.
Shoot. Yeah,
We
because
didn't know she didn't look
your
21. And then
yeah,
as the
your
night,
big.
as the weekend went on, we're like, how old are you? We're like, oh shoot,
His sons look like giants, man, like in a good way. Like they look like they could palm a basketball or, go to the grocery store
Yeah, my
and
godson's 6'4",
hold the little
almost 400 pounds.
yeah, you
And then
know
my
how they hold
son,
the big 4-liter milk jug and
yeah.
it probably looked like a baby little milk carton. I was so shocked when I saw your sons on your show when they came out. I was like, "Oh shoot,
And then
it
my,
makes you look small and you're
mhm,
pretty tall. You're 6 feet,
yeah,
right?"
yeah,
So 6 feet, like I'm gonna say probably over 200 pounds. I think I'm
yeah,
pretty good at
240.
guessing. Yeah, see, I'm good. I'm good at guessing weight and height as well. But he looked like a baby, guys, next to his sons. I was so shocked. Like they're big boys for sure.
And
Tall.
I'm still the one they call whenever they need. I have to handle them. They're the ones when they get in trouble. I'm the one that's got to
Oh.
sit them down and deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Wow. And you were also married for a long time too, right? I think like
Well, yeah, I met my kid's mom in '98. We got married in '02, and like 11, 12ish, kind of like was the beginning of the end. And after that, it's just been me and the kids since
wow.
12. And then when she moved here, she had the kids here for about a year because I was in the oil fields and I was going to take the kids back to Texas, but my daughter didn't want to move. So I moved out here. I used to come out here to visit to DJ, not
Mhm.
to live, because I literally would book gigs to come out here so I could see the kids. That's how I did it. Like I would get with club owners and promoters, and they'd book me while I was traveling, and then I just used it as an excuse to come see the kids.
Mhm.
Hold on, Alex.
How you
Someone's
guys
at my
doing?
door. No, someone's
Oh,
at my
that's
door.
okay. You can go ahead. Yeah.
It's
Don't
80.
worry. You could bring the camera over. We're nice and nosy. You could bring it around the house. Let's quick. He's gone, you guys. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Let's see. Let's see how clean his place is. He's got a green screen, so we can't see it. Honeyflow is nice and nosy. I could only see his controller in his hands. Let's see what else you got going on there.
Nah, I love this guy.
Is that ADMC?
Yeah, he's leaving. He's in work. She's not trying to be on camera right now. He's trying to go home and change and get ready. Look, watch. You gotta come down here though, because I got the camera panel down.
You're close to. Hey, ADMC, how you doing? Good to see
Yeah,
you.
he lives 5 minutes from down up the street.
Oh wow. What about DJ? Is it DJ
We'll come
Touch?
to you. Say it again.
What about DJ Touch? I think I saw you in a few pictures. Are
So
you guys?
Touch is the guy that's how I got the gig in Mexico. Me and
Oh
Touch
wow.
were the guys that went down to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if everybody knew him because he don't really stream anymore. So I
Yeah.
didn't
What
want
happened to him? He was a great streamer.
to. He's honestly life. Like, he works for
Yeah. Like.
Raytheon and he
Hmm.
DJs IRL. And then honestly, I think a lot of guys that did Twitch during the pandemic, because he worked from home.
Yeah.
So he was able to he could, if he took a Ray Train slot, he could take a time, like, you know what I mean? Like take his lunch break at 3 and still do the time slot and whatever. But
Hmm.
I think once he went back to the office, like trying to get what's up, chill. We'll try to get the whole time back and forth, like
Hmm.
going. And Touch is a remarkable family man first, family before everything. And they have a younger one. It's about my son's age. I think she's actually a year older than my son. And the other two are already out the house. His son joined the Air Force during the pandemic, and then his daughter, she moved out right before the pandemic. So I think they're just trying to kind of like with him, it's like get through these next couple of years, and then. But he jumps on here and there. Like I know I've seen him on a couple of IQ's things, and he's done a couple little Ray Trains
Oh,
here and there.
nice. Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. I guess see him
Yeah,
on.
no, and again, if you catch Touch on Twitch, it's like somebody had a birthday and they hit him up and said, "Can you be my Ray Train?" type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Not like he ain't doing pop ups. He's not doing any of that. But
Yeah,
I,
people are more real time. I get it because Twitch could take like a lot of time. I'm
and I
kind of
think that's
too.
what the deal is. He's obsessed with DJing. Like he's got
Yeah,
four I think 3 setups in his house, in one room just to
yeah.
DJ from, and so he already puts in without twitching. I know Touch. He puts in an hour or 2 hours of practicing, just scratching and mixing
Wow.
every day.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're doing that as thing. Then I'm gonna jump on it for a couple hours.
Mhm.
Wifey's like, you've been home since 6, and it's 10 o'clock at night now, and I ain't seen you. So that's my
Exactly.
assumption.
Yeah.
But he's like I said, he's just kind of doing his own thing now. And me, 80, and Javi AZ. I don't know if you know Javi AZ. We're the only 3 really in RTX, DJ RTX. If I don't know if you know DJ RTX, we're the only
Mhm.
4 that DJ on a regular basis on Twitch. Me and 80 the most, RTX the third, and then Javi's another one of those just does Ray Trains here and there.
For sure. So when did you actually, I'm just going to do a few shout outs too. We got DJ Peach UK in the building, DJ Chill Will. Good to see you. Of course, Miss Gigi, Chicken Rackins, Kobe Hustle. We got a lot of your tribe here. If you're on his page, you guys, we are on my channel under DJ
Yeah,
Honeyflow.
I'm
You'll see
pinning
the
it. I'm
chat.
pinning it right now. I meant to do that
Oh,
earlier.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so you'll see it. So definitely come to this channel, and if you guys have any questions as well, definitely drop them in the chat. I'll be sure to try to catch them. DJ PK1 and Chris. Hey, Chris Camouflage. Good to see you, Mr. Aladdin House in the building. Of course, with Infiltrate, I see you, and everyone else. Thanks for coming through. Now, I'm just curious, like, because it seems like you're a great family guy, which I like hearing this perspective, like I like hearing that from you. But if you're taking care of everyone else and all your kids and other people's kids, like where do you go to kind of get advice or inspiration or just a break as well? Like is there anyone you kind of look up to that can help you? Because that's a
I
lot.
mean, the men I lean on in my life are probably a lot of the men I met on Twitch as of late. Drew Williams, Big Al, PK, TNT, 80, Gooch. Like I talk to them more than I talk to my own brother, my biological brother.
Mhm.
And but ultimately my brother is always the if I have to, if I need the big bro advice, even though he's my little brother, I always call bro first. My brother gets that phone call. If it's just like everyday shit where I don't want to like bombard him because he's got his own things going on. He started a business recently. He has 2 jobs. He's got a wife, no kids, but a lot going on. So I try to I'm the type of person that if I know you got a lot going on, I know if I reach out to you, you also know that if I'm reaching out to you, that like my brother, if I call, he answers.
Yeah.
Like my brother one time called me when I was streaming at like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, which he never does. I left the stream for 30 minutes. I put a mix on, put a be right back sign. I said, if y'all here when I get back, you're here when I get back. But I don't know how long it's going to take.
Hmm.
But I wasn't going to not take his call because my bro, like, he'd answer me if I called him at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So,
Okay.
and again, if your brother calls you 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, normally doesn't, or sister, that's got to be something. So,
Yeah, for sure.
my daughter flipped her car when I was streaming.
Oh
And I
shoot.
found out while I was on camera.
How in the world can
The
you
number
flip
kept
your
calling my
car?
phone. I didn't recognize it. I just kept sending it to voicemail, and then her phone number came up. Immediately answered it. Normally, I tell her I'm streaming. What's up? But since those other calls were back to back to back, and then all of a sudden her call rang, I was like, so I answered. She's fine. She was fine, obviously, and I didn't even realize I left. I didn't even realize I was still live. I went to go
Mm.
talk on the phone. I called my dad, did a bunch of other shit, started walking back in the room, and I looked over. I said, and I left. There was like 30. When I came back, there was like 50. And I was like, I am so sorry. And all the chats was waiting to see what happened because they heard
Oh
me on the
wow.
phone.
That's
So
crazy.
that's when I
Yeah,
learned
you definitely never want to get that car.
my
You don't
community
wanna.
really, really had my back because they were like, are you okay? Is she okay? Like what? They never, all I said was like, hey guys, I'm gonna have to shut this down. I gotta go. I said, I apologize. Thank you for sticking around, but I gotta go. And I left. But the fact that they stayed just to make sure she was good, that meant a lot. I've had a lot of crazy things happen while I was streaming personally that I had to deal with while I was either on camera or off camera. And then the chat's still right there. Like, you good? You straight? I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy. And she was good. How did she flip her car? That's a bit insane.
she'd been driving a week and she was overcompensated a turn, like to get away
Mhm.
from a car the car actually hit her.
Wow.
So the car was switching lanes and the rear view mirror hit the back corner of her car. And so being a new driver, she got scared and just turned the wheel and then hit the median and caught air. But because she's 5'1", she just she said she kicked the glass out, grabbed her bag and got out. Just
Wow. Thank God.
everybody was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine." She
That's
goes, "I
crazy.
just kept thinking the car was gonna blow up, so I needed to go get out of the car."
Aw. Mm. That thank God nothing worse happened, you know?
Oh yeah, and nothing happened. Nobody else. She actually went into oncoming traffic and rolled 3 times, and nothing. None of the
That
cars hit her.
she definitely
We've
had
always
some
said
angels covering her that
she's
day.
that girl. Like honestly, like she's that girl that falls and people catch her. You're like,
Aw. Mm.
how did you get caught? Like, how did that happen? Or one time she fell and like the doorknob caught her shirt. Like she was just hanging there, and I'm like, she's a klutz. Real talk, she's a klutz.
Aw. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah. Thanks you guys for coming through. So we're going to go back as well, a little bit back to the start of your DJing. Like it's 20 plus years. So what like initially inspired you to get into music and also DJing 20 plus years ago?
Well, my dad was a DJ in the 70s, and he always played music. Like we didn't do my put it this way, like we had a stereo when we didn't have a television. Like, music always took precedence over everything. And traveling, I remember traveling through Spain with my dad in the 80s, and he had his like a briefcase, but it was full of cassette tapes. And that was the soundtrack of my summers driving everywhere. My dad, we always drove. We never really fly because we were poor, airmen in the military, family of 4. You can't really be flying everywhere. So we drove a lot. And it was always either tapes he made or, listening to Billy Ocean or classic rock or whatever the case may be. And then the 90s happened, and I heard Jackin' for Beats by Ice Cube. And I was like, every song I loved, I had on a tape. And his song had every song I loved on this tape as a beat on his tape. So it was like, I love this song so much because everything I love is on this song. How did that happen? And they go, that's the DJ did that. Well, I'm like, what? So then now I got to do research, start learning. And my mom was cool with this lady, and they're like sisters. Their sons are like my brothers. Spent my summers with them. They started getting into DJing. But I was young, still in elementary, and I would just watch, learn, listen. And then 1992 happens. This kid in my class was like, hey, I heard you know something about DJing, because I was always talking about DJing. And I said, well, I know this and that. Went to his house. He had some belt drive turntables and a mixer. He wanted to scratch. And I just said, well, I got good news and bad news. I said, what? I said, you can DJ your ass off with these turntables, but you can't scratch on these. I mean, you can, but it's a whole type of art form to scratch on a belt drive turntable. And he was like, you want them? And I was like, sure. And he was like, he gave me all his vinyls. He had like 15, 20 vinyls and turntables and the mixer for $100. We got on the bus, took it to my house. It was like a movie, man. Me and my best friend carrying 2 turntables, a mixer, and records. And we probably stopped 20 times, like readjust ourselves because it was all bulky. And my dad goes, what the hell? Set it up in the room. My dad never helped me, like, with all that. Until, you ever seen the movie Triple X?
No, haven't seen that.
You ever seen Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the pit mechanic that smacks Jessica Simpson on the ass, and then the fight happens because he's like that was my high school quarterback. He became an actor.
Wow.
I went to a party I was DJing for a friend of mine, and I was on the varsity team as a freshman, and he goes, you DJ? And I was like, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I really don't. I'm just learning. He goes, you're going to do homecoming. I mean, I didn't have the equipment for homecoming, nothing. It doesn't even stream.
That's crazy.
So I go to my dad and my best friend Brian at the time. I tell him Brian works for my dad as a DJ because my dad started running a DJing service in Japan. And I was like, I got a gig. And then it was like, what kind of gig? I said, it's for the high school, for homecoming. They're going to pay me $700, Dad. And he was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So he's like, you need equipment. You need this. You need that. I'm going to get you all set up. So he got me all set up. We go do the gig, and I get paid. It's a check, so I have to give it to my dad to cash it. And he pays me, pays Brian, keeps the rest. And then I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, that check was $700. I only got $200 in my hand. What the hell happened? And he explained to me, it was I gave $200 to you, $200 to Brian, and I $300 for the equipment. And I was like, huh? Excuse me? So then after that's when I started buying my own equipment and stuff and everything else, because that's when I realized, like, if you don't have the stuff, you got to pay somebody to come set it all up. And then at the time, I had never set up no DJ equipment other than my turntables, you know. So that's how I got into it, and been doing it 30 years ever since.
30 years. Like, are you doing it full time? Is this full time?
This is all I do. I don't do
wow.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I do some
you can tell
online
you're
stuff.
A hustler from the first time I met
online
you.
stuff, but like that's not Twitch affiliate. All I do now is I'm on Kick and Twitch. That's it. I
Yeah.
don't do nothing else.
Really?
And then
I could
I
tell you
travel.
hustle from the first day I met you. You're definitely a hustler I remember that. The first day you walked in my chat, I'm like, this guy hustles. I could tell because you're like promoting. Like it's kind of like when you're out in a club and you're flyering. I'm like, this dude is definitely one of those
What you
guys that
said,
would
put it in the chat. Don't
yeah,
tell me to put it in the chat. I'll put my whole
like
schedule in
flare,
that
flare,
chat.
flare, 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 flare. And I'm like, okay. Just add DJ Dlex, when
There
I
you go.
first
You
met
asked the
you.
question. But yeah,
I remember
that's
that.
all. Yeah, that's. But I mean, when I was in Mexico, I let this kid perform because it was his birthday and he had a song on iTunes. Can I please perform it?
Yeah.
Fuck it, come on, right? We do it. Then this other guy wants to perform, and I'm like, no. My daughter lost her phone the first night. Some guy found it. I FaceTimed him. We met my daughter, gave her the phone. The guy who asked to have his friends rap, that was the guy that found the phone. So now I had to let these guys perform. So I'm letting these guys perform, but one of the guys that's supposed to come on stage is being real passive aggressive. And I have a video. I'm literally telling him, and you can hear me over the music. I said, do you want to get paid? I said, do you want to make it in this business? I said, closed mouths don't get fed. Get your ass on the stage, or you'll never make it in this business. Like, you know what I mean? If a guy just tells you got 5 seconds to get on stage and perform, if a guy's hungry, he gonna get on that stage. That's like me DJing. If I'm in spring break, who wants to DJ? Promise you I'm beating whoever gonna be there on that stage. And that's what I told him. And then afterwards we talked and I told him the same thing. I was like, yo, you gotta if this is what you love, I said, you gotta be your biggest supporter. You gotta
Yeah,
believe in
that's
yourself more
true.
than everybody else. Cause everybody here is
Right.
politicking for you because they believe in you, but you gotta believe in yourself. So I'm a firm believer in God. And God, I think he puts greatness in everybody. But the only way you get that greatness out of yourself that God put there is you can have all the natural talent in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself the way he believes in you, then how are you going to succeed? My dad told me something a long time ago. I was scared of failure and I didn't understand what the hell that meant. And what it meant is I didn't believe in myself enough that I wouldn't let myself fail. So that's kind of how I took Twitch, is like, once I figured out, I was like, I can do this from home and stay with my kids full time and not have to leave my house. And my daughter's getting ready to go to college. And I was already stressing out about my son on the weekends because he don't want to go with his mother. We don't want his mother to come to our house. He's too old for a babysitter, but he's also too young to be leaving the home all weekend alone, because I'm sure you've worked at a club. Just because you get off at 2 don't mean you'll be home by 3.
Yeah, for sure.
So kids ain't stupid. As long as I have anybody at my house before 3, my dad will never know. And of course I can put cameras and do all that, but I don't want to be that dad. I'm not that
Be
dad.
that dad. Be that dad. I was kidding. I'd probably be that mom. I would definitely surveillance. I would. I think I would.
It's different though. You're a single mother living in your home. It's a woman.
Yeah.
Like single man, I have a ring thing, but I mean, that's still, you can come to a window or something. I don't have cameras all around my house. I live in an apartment now anyways, but at the time I had a house. But I'm not that dad that checks my kids. I don't do that because the generations have changed now where when we're growing up, everything was censored. If my kid wants to know about sex, I can't even stop him from learning. If my son wants to learn about drugs, I can't even stop him from learning. If my son wants to learn how to be an architect, I can't stop him from learning because everything is literally at his fingertips. And so I had to learn that, I told him, I said, I hope you do the right thing. And of course, catch him. If you do something wrong, you're gonna get caught. So he gets caught from the bad things. But the same token, it's like how these kids gonna learn this generation.
But they're also going to emulate what you do as well, right? So if you're into that, they're going to emulate that. If you treat a woman a certain way, they're going to watch.
Case in point, why he goes to my dad's house 3 days a week. Because I can't teach him how to love a woman. I can't teach him how to treat his wife. I can't treat him how to be a good husband. But my father can, and my mother can teach him how to respect the woman as well as how a woman should respect her.
You could still teach him that, whether you're single or not. You could.
Well, I can teach him that, but you already know, like me telling him something and him actually seeing me treat a woman correctly is not the same. Because you can. It's almost like the kid you ever seen the movie Blast from the Past when he never saw baseball, he only read about baseball, and then when he watched baseball, he goes, I get it. He has to go to second base. Same thing with kids. It's like I can tell him all day long, This is how you treat a girl. And then his problem is he goes try to do that to a 14 or 15-year-old. He goes, it didn't work, Dad. Like it's not.
Yeah, they're at that it's a different,
And
it's
I'm
a
like, and I get
complicated
it,
age.
but also like I said, but even my father, if my son talks to my mother in a way he feels inappropriate, he'll correct him and say, hey, like, that's not how you talk to a lady. Where I don't have a lady to have that to have that moment, that lesson, So I just tell him, I was like, if you want to, it's like he loves football. How he become good at football? He watched football players. So if you watch my dad, you watch my mom. I mean, my dad made me who I am. Like that's how I treat women because of how my father. Only thing I didn't learn from my father was my father's mother really hid a lot of stuff from me. So when I had the problems in my relationship, I didn't know how to fix them because I never saw problems in my parents' relationships.
Yeah.
And then and it's a little different because like I grew up in a household that like we're gonna be together no matter what. Like, we no matter what we gotta figure out, if we're gonna figure this out, family gonna stay together. Where I was when my ex-wife went to her new job when we first started going through our problems, her job, she worked as a CNA. There was 8 other CNAs there that all just got a CNA school and they all were leaving their husbands and they all were working together.
Really?
So when you work with,
that's not good.
8 women that are all leaving their
Yeah, that's
husbands and
not
all
good.
mad at
That's
the
not
world,
good. It's
and we're
gonna rub
having our
off
little issues at home, and she
100%.
goes, yeah, so
That's why you
everything's in
gotta
there.
be careful. You gotta be careful who you're talking to as well and what advice you're getting around, right? Even if I look at my single girlfriends, as much as I love them, if they're always like, this guy's a player, this guy's a dog, this guy's whatever, the minute they look at someone, you know what I mean? Like that's not good. I'd rather learn from someone that's married than, like you said, like your parents, than like maybe a bunch of single girlfriends, or learn from a man. I've learned from a lot of men on my show. They tell me actually opposite than what single girlfriends tell you, or married
Mhm.
people. They give you opposite advice, which I find interesting. So you guys got to be careful who you're keeping around. One thing I was just going to say before we continue is chicken rackins. Chicken rackins. Thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate you as well. That was a little while ago, 8 minutes ago. Appreciate you. And my Steeda, Big Al coming through, DJ Peach UK, and DJ Junie, everyone coming through. Stirs the Soul as well. Good to see you. No Whisk, Mommy, and everyone else that's come through. Appreciate you guys. So, what do you think of that advice? Like, what do you think? Do you feel like, I guess, for your next relationship, you have to be like, it's important to be getting advice from, different people, not
If
a
I'm in a
bunch of men
relationship, I
that
don't need
maybe
advice from
dated?
anybody.
Or
If
you
I'm
don't
in a
need it
relationship,
from
I don't need
anyone?
advice from anybody except for the person I'm in the relationship with.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Because in my
Interesting.
opinion, like those people that give advice are either in not in a relationship, which I'm not in a relationship. So usually when I get advice, I always say this: look, I'm no person to give you advice because I'm not even personally in a relationship. But if I
Mhm.
was in your situation, this is how I would handle it. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's all I usually say. If I was in
Yeah.
your situation, this is how I would handle it.
Yeah, that's
Because
good advice
I
for
can't
sure.
give you but I can also tell you when I see you're making the same mistake I made, or if I see that, you're doing this or doing that. And the reason I say that is to say this. A lot of people, like in a relationship, they have too many people speaking into the relationship. And I think if you guys ain't figuring it out, go pray. If you guys don't know the answer, you know, sit down and figure out what the problem is and then pray on that. But
Mhm.
if you guys don't have a solid foundation, it doesn't matter the problem. You're never going to fix the problem because you don't have a solid foundation to the problem.
Mhm.
So you got to be able to communicate. Like that's why so I'm single, because once I see there's no communication, or I see like the way I communicate doesn't match your communication skills, my love language doesn't match your love language, then that's when I just say, you know what? It's time for me to just walk away. And
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with walking away. So that's how I do it.
But
But
most people
everybody's
don't have the same love languages. I think it's learning the other person's love language, because
correct. But
a
if
lot
I
of people
realize
don't
your
have
love
the same.
language doesn't speak to mine,
Mhm.
then
But in a lot of cases, that happens in relationships. You could be
and then they try
physical
to
touch,
force it.
and the other person could be words, and you just learn.
Mm.
Let me ask all the married folk or people in relationships, in the building, in the crowd right now. How many of you guys have the same love language as your partner? And if you don't, how many would you say like you had to work at it to learn your other partner's love language? Or was it the same? I'm curious. For anyone that's in a relationship or married, drop it in the chat. I'm curious. Because it could be hard finding someone with the same one. I mean, you could like it could work, but I think that's difficult to find. DJ Peach UK says it's a compromise. I'm surprised because you have a very large show, and you know, I can see ladies coming at you, or you were on. I was spying a little bit. You were on Skylight Candle Show, the dating show that was definitely very spicy, and I saw you more than a few times on that show, lurking and listening to what you had to say.
When I was the
That's when I
host.
realized you're a pretty good speaker. I was like, "Oh, wow, he's actually very good at putting words and different things together," when I was listening to you, you know. But I was hiding in the bushes on that show because it's a little spicy for me. But you guys did a great show when you were hosting. So I'm surprised you didn't find like no one.
Well. So again, I'm hosting a show. So like,
Mm.
I was on the game show, and I didn't get picked because I wasn't dark enough. And that's a true story.
What? Come on.
For
I
real,
don't believe that.
she said
What?
it in the show. Like they said,
What?
like it was me and two dark dudes on the show,
No
and even the
way.
poll said vote for Lex. And then she said, he's just not the kind of guy I go for. I like more of a. I said she like dark dudes. Just say it. And she's like, what
Oh
do you
yeah,
say?
I think I heard that one time. Oh, that was
Yeah,
one
and
time
again,
from
so that was
like
the only time I was on the show. After
oh.
that, she asked me to host the show because J Rock left.
Yeah, you're a good
And then
host.
after that, you know, my thing is this: if I'm gonna meet love, I'm not gonna meet on a game show. I'm not gonna. I'm not.
How do
I mean,
you know? You don't
would I
know.
ever
It could
risk? Possibly,
can happen
yeah. But
anywhere. You don't
it's
know.
like
You don't
I
know.
don't find it. It's like I'd rather just.
You could
I've
meet
had
it
one
on your
relationship.
show. You could meet someone on your show. You have no hot clue,
You
you know.
could. You could.
Yeah,
I
meet
dated
them anywhere.
somebody recently for a while, and you know, there's always one problem though. I'm a DJ. That's always a
Oh, a
problem.
lot. Yeah, I heard that actually because I'm trying to do a dating show and all the women won't come on my show because they're like adamant
I'm not
about
dating a DJ.
not dating a DJ. They all say that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then they
No,
have a whole list. I kind of feel sorry for the men because then sorry, ladies, I'm with the men right now because you guys, I'm not going to say you, but a lot of women I try contacting and pushing to be contestants. They're like, what does he do? Okay, it's fine if you want to know what someone does for work. But then they have a whole list of requirements. How tall is he?
Mhm.
What does he look like? Oh, I don't know. He's too short. He's only 5'9". He's this, he's that, he's this. And I'm just like, you guys, like, you can miss your blessing.
Honeyflow, ask
But
Big
you're
Al,
so
ask Junie C. I'm
critical.
looking for any single guys in the room. Ask all those single men. That's our dating life.
I was
They're
kind of
gonna
a bit
always find the
shocked.
thing about our list that they don't like. Oh,
I know I should be quiet,
oh,
my Steeda, because I'm
oh.
gonna get in trouble right now. I was a little shocked. I was surprised because I got DJ Fresh as a bachelor. He's a good-looking guy, and he's like, "Honeyflow, like women don't go for me because I'm only 5'9". And I started laughing. I'm like, "Oh, you're a cute little thing, only 5'9". Like I'm only 5'1", but I was bugging him. And
Mhm.
he's like, "See?" He's like, "See what I mean?" He's like, "I can't transition that into real time." So I've been DMing some women to come on my show and they're like, he looks like a player. He wears robes. He puts baby oil on his arms, and he's only 5'9". And I don't know. I don't like the way he like. Well, they're just having a long list.
It's true. It is just like, and the thing about people don't realize is like, if we just stood up here and we're not single,
Mm-hmm.
and and did our job, then they would be like, "Oh, he's such a family man. He's good," and they'd support you. But when you're single, I'm sorry, these girls come to our chat. They want us to do single shit. Like, you know what I mean? Are you wearing sweatpants? You have a cam? Oh,
But you're
like
a grown man. You should. You can't. You shouldn't give into peer pressure. You should do
you're
what
not giving
you.
into peer pressure. But it's look, I'm sorry,
That's
but I
if
shake
you
my
want
ass for
to.
tips. I shake
Oh
my
God.
ass for tips. How to make
Oh
money on
man.
Twitch is my personality,
Uh-huh.
what I do on my camera, and I'm always dancing and smoking and talking shit.
Yeah.
If I don't smell, literally, if I'm sitting here just minding my business, playing my music, everybody's like, "What's wrong? Are you okay? You having a bad day? Is everything all right?" I'm like, "I just want to sit here and listen to music. You're being
Mhm.
too quiet. Is everything all right?" So it's like they come to your channel for that, just like Fresh. Like once he did that, I told him, I said, "You're," and then he did this like a long time ago. I remember telling him this too. I said, "You're fucked." He's like, "Why?" I said,
Uh-huh.
"Because they're gonna expect that. Now they're and you've even everybody said,
Oh
"Oh, are you
yeah,
gonna
they're
wear the
really
robe?
demanding it. I mean, I
Are you gonna wear
demand
the robe?"
I told him to do push-ups on my talk show. I did demand it. I did.
See what
I'm a guy.
and guess what?
I'm
We
like a
and
guy. We had to demand it.
because the way we were raised for ladies, if ladies ask you to do something and you can do it, you do it.
No, but I
So
think he does it for himself, especially the baby oil and like going in slow motion and rubbing his arms. And I feel like he does it all for himself. Just like
he's doing
you
it for
shaking your
somebody
thing,
watching it.
shaking.
If it was just him in the
Hey,
chat,
hey,
then I'd say
hey.
he's doing it for himself. If it was just him and Fresh in the chat,
I
then I'd
think
say
you're
he's doing
doing
it
it
for
for
himself.
yourself too. Forget about blaming it on the bits and the subs. You like dancing around in those
I
sweatpants.
don't dance around my house when I'm not streaming. I don't
Yeah.
dance unless I'm DJing.
Okay.
Period.
I was gonna say
Because once I'm here in this space, and once the headphones go on, I start doing my thing. It's like everything else just blurs out,
yeah.
and I'm just here,
Well, you do have
and
fun. You definitely have fun for
and
sure.
that's why I can do it for 8-9 hours because I don't even realize I'm on there for that long.
Yeah, exactly. And you
It
just
isn't
have
until my
fun.
mods are like, "How much longer are you gonna go?"
Sometimes you forget people are watching you. You start getting very comfortable and just having fun. Like I did that I think a
And
week ago. I was having
that's
fun.
what I want in a relationship. I
Mhm.
want to be able to be in that space, and everything else fades away. I can just be me, and I can forget, like you said, the camera's on.
Yeah,
But
for
I can
sure.
be me. But
Well,
that's
I
the
do
problem
have a
is when in this generation trying to date, you got to pretend there's a camera on when you're talking to somebody at first because you can't get past the do you DJ? Do you put baby oil on? Do you wear a robe? Like all that stuff, you know?
well, I mean, I do have a solution for you. Are you ready for it?
Go
I
ahead.
think I mean, I really think you should maybe come on my show and be a bachelor. How many would want DJ Dlex to be on a dating show and be the bachelor or a contestant? Throw some ones in the chat. Let me know. And I was going to say thank you so much. Is it Azafra? I was going to call you asparagus. Sorry, I couldn't see. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Thank you so much for the bits. I appreciate you. I can't even, is it Asafrav? Help me out with this name. I can't do it. Uh, I apologize. I'm going to call you Asa. Is it?
Mellow Yellow says there's not
Thank you
always
for
the
the
case.
bits.
Sometimes they have a list and overlook women as well. I don't know any man that got a list
What?
of required.
Who's saying
She's in
men
my
have
chat. I'm
lists?
bringing her over right now.
Well, yeah, I feel like men want like a supermodel, and they also want a woman that looks like has the heart of a Mother Teresa. That's what me
Well,
and my
that's y'all's fault though.
you
That's
can't have
y'all's fault.
both. You can't have a
That is y'all's
supermodel
fault.
and the
That is
heart of
y'all's
Mother
fault. The minute
Teresa.
y'all start using the filters and the angles and all this shit and making yourself look like
I
supermodels
don't
on
use
IG
any.
and everywhere
I
else,
don't use any filters.
I'm saying though, I'm saying the minute y'all started doing that, you know, men started expecting that. And then when
I
the
only
woman
use
walked
a
through the
filter
door,
on
they're like, you don't look like the picture you sent. Like,
That's
no.
why you men need to go to the gym and try to see a woman working out, and that's where you see her in her natural
Women
state.
working out do not want men coming nowhere near them.
I do.
At
Hello,
the
anyone in Toronto.
man, at the
If
gym,
I'm
they're like,
working out and
I
you
was
are
like, can I get
too,
that dumbbell? I got
and
a
you can
boyfriend.
do
I
more
just
than
wanted the
20
dumbbell, girl.
push-ups, I want you approaching me. If I see you at the gym and you're in a tank top and you're lifting that barbell, yes, I want you approaching me. Just putting it out there. But
Mm.
yeah, I do hear that. Like my friends say that too. They hate when men approach them. But my friends are the type of friends that have like a million men approaching them. And they're just like, oh, I'm so sick of that. Don't you hate it when you just go to Costco's and you're just like, just came from the gym and they're all approaching you? I'm like, sorry, I don't have that. I don't have that luxury like some of my other friends. But anyways, Mr. Latin House says women love cheesecake. Let's see.
Not Cheesecake Factory, obviously, in 2024.
We got no whisk mommy in the building. I haven't even gone into any of these DJ questions. I just feel like I'm having a conversation with you right now. I'm learning a lot of interesting different things about you actually that I didn't really know. So that's good. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat for DJ Lex. There is one thing that you probably don't know about Lex, guys, is he's got great curls. He definitely has great curls. And if you guys have come to the Honeyflow show, you know I'm a little crazy over curls. So this girl Xtina,
How did this happen? What did you wake up one day and have obsessions with curls?
no, I've had obsession with curl since like the 80s, like Jerry curl, like with Deion. Remember Deion Sanders had that long, curly, luscious
You
curls
was the
down to
Jerry.
his
You was the
shoulders.
Jerry curl.
Ooh,
Oh
yes.
man,
Or S curl, S curl. You have
ass
a little
curl. So you probably watched
and the fade,
Coming to America a few times, looking at the Soul Glow.
I did. I did. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if anyone's interested. He's letting down his curls, guys. He
I'll
is
take it out for
letting
you,
them
just for you,
down.
Honeyflow,
I am
just for
obsessed.
you,
I'm obsessed with
Honeyflow shot. So wait.
I'm
What did
obsessed with
she just
this
say?
girl
What did
Xtina's
he?
curls
I gotta see
too.
what he said.
Oh, who cares about wet pillowcases? I will buy him the bonnet or shower cap. I don't care. Do you wear that? Do you wear that to bed? Do you wear like a little bonnet or like shower cap to bed? I'm curious. To
Me?
protect your curls? Yeah, to
My
protect the
curls?
curl.
No. If my
No?
curls, hairs, no. I'm enough for the curls. Only time I ever wear do rag is if I have my hair braided. Other than
Oh,
that,
wow.
mm-mm.
How long is
I
your
wear it during the show is to keep the hair from being like this.
let's zoom in on him, guys. We're gonna
Oh,
stalk
look, we zooming in
oh,
on me now.
super glossy. Now I need a filter. I
Oh,
need a
see how that works.
because it looks so bright and
Junie
shiny.
says he needs a curly kit.
Guys don't have to worry about these things like women do.
What do you
um,
mean?
let's see. How long is your hair? Is it down to your back? Gosh, you got more hair than
Touches
I
my
do.
butt.
I feel so jealous. You have way more hair than I do. I barely have any hair left. Sheesh.
Why'd you cut it?
Well, I had to because like COVID was brutal a couple years ever since COVID, having it a few times, like a couple years ago, it did something crazy to my hair. I don't know if it did anything to anyone else's, but it did with mine. So that's why I had to just like cut it off, unfortunately. But I miss it. And I miss
But
those.
COVID's over now.
I know, but I haven't like my hair hasn't repaired since then. Like it was brutal. Like, I don't know.
Did you get the
Anyways,
vaccine?
no, I didn't. Can I say
Oh.
that? 'Cause that's, like, touchy subject for everyone.
No,
I
I'm asking because
didn't.
some people I know people got the shot and their hair thinned afterwards.
No, I definitely didn't,
That's why I
just
asked.
because 'cause I'm just seeing too many crazy cases right now with everyone now, unfortunately, but, yeah, so Mellow Yellow said I had the same thing, and I had it twice. I think I had it 4 times over the last couple years, and it was, like, crazy brutal. But anyways, so he's gonna take out his hair for you guys. And
Yeah, we're
you
doing
know,
here.
yeah, which I
Is
love.
it for them or for you? What are we doing here?
It's kind of for both. It's for me as well. I've never had a man take down his hair for me before. I feel very, very honored that you're taking your hair down for me. Yeah.
Okay,
So
why don't you ask your DJ question while I do this?
exactly, exactly. We haven't even hit the DJ questions yet. So, do you remember, of course, you mentioned a bit of your first equipment that you had. Do you remember did you ever have Radio Shack equipment actually? Or going back to that
No, but funny
any of
story
it?
is no funny. Well, I used to work at Radio Shack, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But the funny story is, yeah, that was my college job. And I got the job because they started carrying DJ equipment, and I sold the guy on saying I knew DJ equipment. And that's how I got the job.
Yeah.
I was like, but I was laughing because I literally found a couple of splitters I had, and I turned them over and it said Radio Shack. I said, I still got Radio Shack splitters. I was like, these are like gold. I don't even want to use these splitters. I want to like put them to the side. I miss Radio Shack, man. I didn't have none of the Optima gear. No, I didn't have that. But I
Yeah.
had I used a lot of their cables and attachments and other stuff because it was cheap. You know, if I had to get a splitter or something.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious comment. Stirs is like, "Bruh, you letting her Rapunzel you?" Yes, because that's what we do on the Honeyflow show. We make them drop and do
I was
52
warned ahead of time,
take
so I already
down
knew
their
this was
hair.
coming.
Yeah, because I saw a picture with his hair on Instagram. I was like, "Ooh, he's got some luscious curls on
Yeah.
Instagram." I haven't seen that in a while. It's almost as good as this girl Xtina's curls. So I asked if he could let down his hair for me, which is so nice because he just braided it and now he's letting it down. So do you remember like your most memorable DJ moment out of all the gigs you've done that really stood out to you?
My favorite gig ever. That's a hard one. There's so many. But if I have to put a gig that was most memorable because it was memorable to my son is when I did West Coast Fest in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Blueface, Ice Cube, Loonies, and can't remember the rest. But my son, I go, "Do you want to go to this concert?" He never been to a concert before, and I was gonna take him because I was DJing. But I brought him backstage, and he became the back. Loonies paid my son $100 to take a picture with them, and told my son, "When you grow up and you become famous, I want you to tell everybody that the Loonies was the first person to pay you for a professional picture." And I go, "That's so smart." It's marketing. He's marketing like years in advance. Like,
Yeah.
and he was on stage, and then I had to leave to go to a gig. So I was like, "We gotta go." But Blueface was late, hadn't performed, and Ice Cube still hadn't performed. My son was like, "Can I stay?" So my godsons, you see how big they are. I was like, "Okay, I gotta go." I gave them all my backstage credentials, and I said, "You guys stay backstage, watch him. Something happens to him, you all die." Peach.
Oh my gosh.
And then, sure enough, I get videos while I'm DJing at my gig from my friends in the crowd. My son's on stage dancing, crip walking with Blueface.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite concert to DJ at because he still talks about that show to this day.
Wow. Yeah,
And
that would be amazing. You know, the
um,
producer of the Loonies is on Twitch. He came in on me when I was DJing Pam the Functress, like a tribute special. So
mhm,
everyone from the Bay Area, they're like, "Honeyflow, do you know who's in your chat room?" And of course, I miss all the messages. And I checked the
mhm.
replay. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was." I thought it was Tony Capone or the Tony from the producer of the Loonies, or he's produced a lot of Bay Area artists. So
Well,
that was
funny
a pretty
story.
cool
I
highlight.
was there when that song was produced.
Oh, really?
It was actually not
That's
100%
dope.
produced in the Bay Area. It started being
Mhm.
produced by a guy named Steve Hicks because Hicks's brother was their manager. Steve Hicks was in the Air Force and lived in Japan. He was my dad's troop.
Oh,
And
wow.
my dad says, "Hey, I got," because my dad knew I was into music. He actually was, he also produced Social Club, Rumors. He did that song. The guy who did Rumors and all that, they also did I Got Five on it.
Nice. That's
So I
amazing.
was in his room and he was playing the keys. And then we went back to like 6 months later and I saw the plaques on the wall. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "How you get these Loonies plaques?" And he said,
Mhm.
"Remember that day you were at my house?" He's like, "Yeah, that's the beat I was working on." So he got the platinum plaque for that. So I never told the Loonies this story until the second time my son met them because I never wanted it to be like a fanboy thing.
Mhm.
And then I said his name, and his name is none of the credits. I said, "You mean when Steve Hicks was doing the piano work?" And they stopped dead tracks, turn around. "How you know Steve?" I said, "I was in Japan with him." And that they knew at that moment I wasn't lying.
Wow.
They were
Yeah,
like, "Whoa."
that's a really
And they go,
cool
"How come you
story.
never told us this?" And I said, "I didn't want that the reason why you guys thought I was cool."
Mhm.
I
You
knew somebody.
worked also you worked in radio as
Yeah, I
well?
worked in not you know what Art LeBeau is? He used to do the
No.
Sunday Jam Slow Show.
Mhm.
So Art LeBeau used to own a station out here called 98.3 until Clear Channel bought it. And I worked there. Actually, the first radio station I worked at was Radio One in Tokyo. I take that back, but I was in high school. That really don't count. We produced our show at the school and then they would play it on Saturdays. But and then I did internet radio after that for a while. And then I did two other radio stations here, 106.3. Went back to 98.3, then back to 97.5. And
Mhm.
then I do a couple overseas. And now I just got signed. You know who Delicious Vinyl is? The
No, I
record
don't
company.
know. Yeah, I don't
They
know.
produced Tone Loc, Young MC, well, some of the groups that came through there. Who else? Can't think of all of them right now, but they have a radio station on Dash Radio that Smooth D runs, and I just got a show on there now too. That starts next week.
Wow. How did you get that? How did you get those opportunities? Did you have to apply or did you go out or did they just see you on Twitch or is it just networking? Like,
It's a combination of everything, honestly, because I knew he was already on it, and then I was on his show watching him stream, and he goes, "Guess who the new program director is for Delicious Vinyl?" So I put in the comments and I said, "Oh, cool. So I get a show." I was just joking, honestly. And he
wow.
was like, "Actually, I need DJs. You down?" I was like, "Fuck it. Yeah." Like, I'll
That
call
is
you. And he
crazy.
actually called me last night and sent me all the stuff on the email this morning.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
At
Looks like
Far Side, that was the I can remember my name was all over the place on that one.
they're all
But
getting
yeah, so
songs for you.
but yeah,
I
so
think
they were that's how. And then the radio station here, it's just been because I've been on the radio before.
Mhm.
So have you ever worked radio? I've seen you on some
Yeah,
pictures
yeah,
of your.
I'm
So
definitely more of a radio
radio,
personality.
it's so unsyndicated now. Like people like they getting tossed around like pawns. So they'll just be like, "Yo, Lex, can you produce this show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then the radio pays you pennies to do it. But I used to do it heavy because I was heavy in the clubs. So I would
Mhm.
just go live on the air every Friday, tell everybody where I was going to be on the weekend. But it's not worth it now. I got my own radio show.
Yeah, that's true. But how do you survive too? I mean, you obviously have like a good following on Twitch. You've definitely hustled and worked hard to definitely get that as well on Twitch. But do you ever have like any down moments online where you're just like, "Ah, I don't know if I want to
I wanted to
continue?"
quit Twitch about 5 times.
Yeah.
No cap. And every time I have the conversation with my community, because I talk to everybody separately,
Hmm.
I swear to God, I have the best month I've ever had in my life.
Hmm.
So I told myself I'm no longer going to speak about it, wanting to quit. And then I just figured out other ways to push harder. Because in 2022, I did 275 days straight with no breaks.
Oh, that's a lot. That's
And
crazy.
then I reached 69 as my average
Hmm.
in 6 months. And I was like, well, I guess this ain't for me, like partner. And then I took a 3-month, 4-month kind of break where I was only on like 4 or 5 times a month. So talk about a shock to your community when
Hmm.
you're on all the time, then you weren't on at all. And then I moved in this place last April. And I said, you know what? I'll get back at it again. And
Hmm.
I'm pretty much on every day. But the way I treat this run is if I don't feel like streaming, I don't stream. My son
Don't
says,
you
hey, you want
ever
to watch it?
Yeah, don't you ever feel like burnt out though if you're going on almost every day?
I could, I literally could, I wake up in the morning and I have to tell myself, don't stream.
Mhm.
Like I literally,
Easy
because I'll wake up
addictive.
at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Because I'd rather do it than watch TV. I'd rather do it than sit around my house not doing nothing. I'd rather do it. And especially if there's nobody for me to watch. Like if nobody's on at that time, I'm like, I'd be mad. I'd be like, can't somebody go live right now so I can be entertained and I don't want to go on Twitch?
Mhm.
And sure enough, you put 1,000 hours in last year. Damn. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do about 180 a month. 180 hours a month.
that's definitely a lot. It can be addictive. So how do you find balance between like your family, your personal life, and like
Well, my
streaming?
son's not here 3 days out of the week. So
Mhm.
those are the 3 days I actually go the hardest. Tuesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Like how many hours is it?
For what? Did I go on those days?
Yeah.
It just depends because Wednesdays I don't have no ray train. So Wednesdays it's up in the air. Fridays might do my 90s Friday, same thing up in the air. But then the red light, same thing. It's all a
Mhm.
vibe. But a lot of my stuff overnight, like I work with guys from Australia or like when like Peach is in the chat. So when Peach was pushing for partner, I have a ray train every Sunday that I run called Sunday Service
Mhm.
with ADMC and PK1. And I knew he was pushing for partner because I'm in the back-to-back Ray Train group, and I saw he was going live, and I told him, "Look, if you go on live before my show starts, I'll raid you." And everybody's like, "I can't believe you sent 100 something people to this person and not to your Ray Train." I said, "My
Mhm.
Ray Train's on every Sunday, but him making partner can only happen once."
Yeah, which makes
And I was
sense.
like, and if it helps him, it helps him. And I mean, one day, hopefully, I help anybody I can help because I hope one day maybe the help comes back my way or at least come back to my community. My community meaning people I DJ with and hang out with. But
For
it's
sure.
like, I do care about the number, but I more care about the vibe than anything. So it's like,
And just
if we're vibing and you're hanging out with us and you're about to go live and I know what we can help you, guess where we're gonna go? We're gonna go
yeah.
help you.
And just to encourage people out there, like some of the partners, I've interviewed a lot of partners, over 200 people on this show, and
Am I
different
frozen?
partners.
I'm frozen. Ha.
Yeah, I think you're frozen right now. Different partners, told me, and I'm glad they did. They said that like Vader Mix, it took him 7 times, 7 rejections, and then finally he made partner. So I just want everyone to know, sometimes you may look at people's victories, and there's a lot of self comparison, especially in social media and online, and you may be like, oh man, maybe my show isn't good enough, or maybe this happened. Oh, it says it's broken the internet. Oh, what's broken the internet? Are you guys still there? Can you guys still hear us out there? I think you can.
I think he was talking about because the camera
The
froze.
hair? Oh, the camera froze. Oh, okay. So I just, yeah, and Big Al says it's not easy at all. But I just want to encourage people that, like, a lot of partners I've interviewed, some of them failed 3 times, 5 times. Vader Mix, I was surprised it was 7 times. Some people got on the first shot. But really, oh shoot. Let's see. Is it showing that I'm rating out? What's happening here? I don't know what's happening. Can you guys see that?
I'm rating you.
Oh, it said that it was rating out. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading this properly. Anyways, how can you tell I'm not the greatest at multitasking? I'm like, what the heck? Am I missing something here? What's going on here? And then I'm reading the messages. What's happening?
I cared about the check until I talked to Big Al.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother worrying about it. Honestly, partner is just a luxury check and name, but really you don't get anything more from partner. I heard you only get,
and that's what he told me. He goes, you get the views,
followers. Yeah,
and you got the money. He's like, the check's not going to do nothing for you.
Exactly. So I would say just but there is a difference. Do you agree? Like, there's a difference between you, because I'm doing this full time as well. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
I've seen you go live for 5 hours with no mic. I already know.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably doing it more for myself than anyone else at this point.
And what do you think I'm doing it for? Honestly, like,
yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you what, I've got people to
grind it, and people don't. Yeah, but people don't get it. People don't get it though, because I feel like there is more pressure on us if we're doing it full time, right? So some people are just like, oh, who cares? Don't worry about it. And they're doing puzzles, or they're just doing it for fun. I think there's a very big difference from people that are doing it full time compared to people that are just doing it for fun. And when they make different comments at you, I kind of feel like, it's nice talking to someone like you that gets it, that's doing it full time and won't judge you. That's one thing I love about this community, is they really don't judge. They don't think it's crazy like your friends and family may think, right? But what keeps you going? Like, even though you're like, oh man, I want to quit 5 times, like, what keeps you hanging in
my
there?
mods are very supportive. My mods are amazing. Like, I have, and everybody laughs because I have like 30 mods, but it's because of the times I stream. Literally, my mods do like, they'll tap each other in. Like I have a mod that wakes up early in the morning, another mod that's on overnight. Like, oh, you're up? I'm going to bed. Good night. Like, so they look after me. But also, if I don't go live when I say I'm going to go live, or if I take time off, like, they'll hit me up. Like, they're like, you okay? Are you good? Do you need anything? Like, I'm not allowed to smoke weed on this show, but I smoke weed on my show. And and I smoke weed, not everything that I smoke weed, just I want to get high. I have bad arthritis in my fingers. I have a lot of other issues. And honestly, if I smoke weed during my show, I can stream all night. The times I don't smoke weed, and I don't have any weed, about an hour or two, I'm uncomfortable, I'm in pain, I just want to get off.
Oh, shoot. So then me telling you to unbraid your hair right now and not smoking is probably killing you right now.
It's all right. I smoked before the show because you warned me.
We're good. We are going to Facebook and we're going to YouTube as well. So I try to.
No, and at the end of the day, I have that respect for anybody. I do that even when I'm on a raid train. I'll ask the person on the raid train, like, "Hey, do you mind if I smoke during my set?"
Yeah.
And some of them will say yeah, and some of them say, "Do you mind not to?" I've had people tell me no.
Yeah.
Nobody ever
and
noticed.
I really do. No, and I do appreciate you.
Yeah, no, because it's this is your brand, this is your influence. Yeah, I'm on your platform, but it's like, if you came to my show and you were like, "Can you not smoke? Because I don't want the smoke around me." I'm gonna be like, "Cool, I got you." You know what I mean? That's like, if we were hanging out and you were like, "Can you not smoke in front of me?" I don't have a problem with that, because it ain't for everybody. I can pop an edible, we can have a conversation. Not an issue, but
yeah,
for me, but for me, my mods will know. I'll be like, "No, I'm not gonna go live tonight." They're like, "Why not?" I said, I didn't have any. They know. I'm like, I didn't have any money to get any weed, this and that, and they'll cash at me. Like, get some weed. Let's get together. Let's hang out. Because sometimes they're having a day, and they'll ask me, "Are you going live?" And I'll say no, for whatever reason, and then they'll say, "Well, could you please for me?" And sure enough, they'll do it. I mean, during COVID, I remember I was streaming and we were drinking, and I said, "This is my last beer, guys. I'm done. Like, I ain't doing no more after this beer." And then one of the people in chat said, if you had more beer, you go longer. And I said, yep. And one of the people in my chat sent beer to my house. I didn't even know. So the fucking door rang. And I was like, what's that? They go, that's the beer.
Do that with food. I would probably do it. You know, you made it big on Twitch. I always say is if someone buys you a smoothie, that's when you made it big. I always joke like that. But
I had red lobster in my house before. I had red lobster
like
in my house. That's the only meal I've ever had sent to my house from Twitch. Was a red lobster.
What the heck? Who's sending red lobster? I gotta talk to that person. Get them on my show. You're getting red lobster? Sheesh.
Yeah, red it was my birthday. We were streaming, and I said, so I was hungry, and then they said, "What sounds good?" I said, "Seafood."
Aw, that's actually very sweet. That's very nice.
I have a great community. I wouldn't trade them for anybody. They're amazing. Like, and even the DJs, like I just saw Peach Wright, Don't Ever Quit. He's another one. Like, even before he made partner, he's in my chat every morning, hanging out, saying what's up, how you doing, what's up. And like for me, Big Al, same thing. Like he runs Ratchet Tuesday, and one day he was like, "You want to join?" and looked out for me. Like so many people just look out like that. I just didn't expect that from this because, you know, I didn't know what Twitch was all about. Because at first I came to Twitch, I was like, "What the heck? Why is everybody talking to everybody else but me?" Like it's like the whole chat's talking, but like I was used to Facebook where everybody's like talking to you. But I forget this is a place everybody likes to hang out and be together. So,
yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. So D-More is like, you're taking your braids down. Yes, we are getting him to take his braids down, guys, on the Honeyflow show to see his curls. And if you guys miss it, check it out on Instagram. He's got some nice, like flowy, long, luscious curls as well. What is your background? I thought you said Jamaican as well.
My dad's Dominican and Jamaican. His dad's 100% Jamaican. His dad was a slave. So that's how old my grandfather was. My grandfather was like 80 when my dad was 12. And
okay.
My grandmother's Dominican. She's Spanish, French Dominican. And my mother's Mexican and Indio, which is Native American.
Wow. A lot of different mixing in your family. That's cool. Do you ever go back to those countries? Like ever go to Jamaica?
I'm about to get my Dominican citizenship. Because my dad was born there citizen, so I can get dual citizenship so I can buy land there.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so you've lived in so many different places being from the Army. You guys, I'm going to list a few. Like, I probably won't get all of them because there's a lot. But you guys, this guy's lived in Phoenix, Cali, New York, Spain, Arizona, Japan. Let's see here. San Antonio, Mississippi, Japan, Dubai. Wow. That's insane. Let's see here. You said that you would like to retire in the Philippines, Thailand, Bali, or Dominican by 55 or 50. Why would you want to retire there? I'm curious about that.
Because I can stream there and be able to pay my bills.
Oh, out there? Have you been to the Philippines?
I've been pretty much all those places, but yeah, I know the cost of living. Like I just literally did a research thing on this place in Bali, in Thailand, and with the 1-bedroom apartment with the scooter, all expenses. The guy that's there right now, he pays $1,400 a month for everything.
Wow!
And he has a maid in his room every day. So I just got back from Mexico. That was another place I was on my list. I have a friend down there. He pays $1,300 a month for a 5,000 square foot house.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, these guys got jokes.
Like, remember how you were talking about the cost of living, like in Canada, like buying a house and stuff like that? It's like, why would I want to retire someplace that I can't even afford to like live?
No, it's so true.
And so many people now that are retired in the United States, like God bless their soul, but it's like they can't even afford nothing.
That's so true. Lots of people leaving. I don't know if you're familiar with Spain, but I was looking that up.
I lived there from 84 to 88.
What do you think of that? Because a lot of Canadians, they're recruiting to move to Spain, and I saw, oh my gosh, like you could get a house.
Portugal and Spain are the cheapest places to live in.
You could get a house for $300,000, and it's like huge, you guys. I was almost tempted to book a trip and start looking, because I hear you. But that's good that you're so versatile. Okay, woohoo! Yay, you guys! He let his hair down. now we're gonna need him to wet it, and then we're gonna have to really see all the curls come.
Oh, okay. We gotta do all that too. Don't we go
No,
do that?
I mean, we don't have to, but it'd be funny. But it's okay.
Be right back.
We won't put pressure. Oh my gosh, he's actually doing it, you guys. That is hilarious. He's actually doing it, leaving me on my own show to wet his hair. I've never had a guy in my life, I don't think in general, ever let their hair down. And every time, okay, for all you guys that don't know, he bugs me a lot. Like I wouldn't say harasses me, but he bugs me a lot. And then I was just like, well, whatever, then do this. You got to do this. You got to cook. You got to let your hair down. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I'll tell this guy he's got to do all these things. And then the guy will just do it. He'll be like, oh, sure. Oh, no problem, Honeyflow. Like, I can cook. No problem. And then he'll send you like a gourmet dish, like on Instagram. I'm like, is there anything this guy can't do? Like, seriously. But it really did like kind of start off as a joke. You know what I mean? But he's actually doing it. I mean, these days I'm getting men, ladies doing the weirdest things on the Honeyflow show, getting them to drop and do 50 push-ups, put baby oil on their arms. Today it's, letting down his braids. So I'm definitely going to have to pay him back for that so he could get his hair done. I don't think I've ever paid for a guy to get their hair done, but now I'm feeling kind of bad because he just got fresh braids in and now he's taking them all down. Jeez. Oh man. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, I've never had anyone leave my show, leave me by myself on my own show to like let his hair down and wet it and get the curls out for me. Jeez. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, I don't even know what to do with these questions. I don't even think this is an interview at this point. I'm not even asking him any DJ questions. He is surprising me today. Let's see. What are you guys saying? DJ Peach. I think I saw in the chat that you just made partner. Congratulations. Yeah, he's confusing me because I'll be like, do a cartwheel. I'm like, do the splits. I'm like, make a 5-course meal. Like, I'm telling him to do really impossible things here. And this guy keeps coming back and he's like, sure, Honeyflow. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. And it's just like, what? I'm really, really confused right now. I'm not flirting. I've never flirted. I mean, I have had 1 or 2 Twitch crushes, but I'm never, ever going to tell you guys out there who it is because I know everyone in the room knows them and everyone would be extremely shocked. That's all I can say. I better not say anything before, I get in trouble and you guys get that out of me. But they're married. What can I do? I can't do anything with that. So I'm not going to say who they are. But I think I've maybe had two in the last 3 years. DJ Junie says, I'm flattered. Oh, look at this. Oh,
we good now?
Woo!
You done, Yellow? You done? We good?
Yeah, I like it. That's hilarious. Thank you so much. Thanks. I feel like now I got to pay for your hair so you get braids back, Yeah.
Braids in Mexico cost like $11.
Yeah. Ah, shoot.
Yeah,
that's like $30 Canadian. We can't afford that. We got to get some. We got to get some tips and subs and bits coming in to pay off his hair because that's like triple the amount Canadian. $30.
No, $11.
I know. $11 US is like $30 Canadian.
How much are y'all subs over there?
It's expensive, man. They just raised it on us. Let's see. I should have a look here.
They're about to raise it on us. That's why I asked.
That's not fair because they don't raise it on you guys and they raise it on Canadians and our dollar.
They raise it on the rest of the world except for us. But actually, even TikTok, Twitch is not. Kick's about to raise their prices too.
So a gifted sub is $8.49, and then 5 gifted subs are $42.45. That's a lot, eh? Oh, I said 8. Yeah, look at his hair. Oh my gosh, I love it. DJ PK1 says he looks like a retired pro wrestler. That's so true. It's so true. Have you? Okay, now I'm gonna
Jimmy Snooker.
I'm gonna ask you really weird questions. Like if you ever had a girl like pull your hair, like
absolutely.
Oh, really?
Every time a girl braids it, they're pulling on it.
Oh,
But like,
No, but
has your hair
I've had a girl pull on my hair. Don't worry.
has your hair ever gotten
In a good
stuck?
way and in a bad way.
Has your hair ever gone stuck in like a car door or anything? Or like in your top?
I've gotten it stuck on a seatbelt. I've gotten it stuck in a
Oh,
zipper on a jacket.
I got it. Have you ever dated a girl or like your ex-wife and all of a sudden she starts like yelling at you because she sees a long strand of hair in your car, but it's really your
No,
hair? And you can't
the funny
explain
thing,
it to her.
my daughter's
Hey, it's
so
hair.
when I started dating after my ex-wife, my daughter was the best fucking friend in the world
Aw.
because anything they find in my house is my daughter's. It's my daughter's. It's my daughter's. And once I've been growing my hair now for like 6 years. So like the last 6 years, yeah, you can't argue with me. I can't commit no crimes either because I'll leave a trail of hair everywhere I go.
Yeah, that's true. You would. So you've had your hair long for a long time then?
The last 6 years. Yeah,
Oh,
since I moved to Tucson, when I moved here, I stopped cutting it. I was gonna dread it like right away when I moved here. My daughter asked me not to, but now she wants dreads, so now she says I can dread it. My son wants me to cut my hair. He hates my hair. My daughter, she's the one reason I never cut it because she's like, Dad, you can't cut your hair until I tell you you can. I was like, okay.
oh man.
It's my last
So
hoorah. After this, once I cut this, I'll be like Big Al.
yeah. Oh, DJ Peach UK says you're a sexy boy. Sexy boy.
Oh, thank you, Peach. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm surprised you haven't had any ladies come at you on your show, like any stalkers, any crazy
Oh,
situations.
I've had all the above.
Yeah.
Almost every woman that's banned in my room every person banned in my room, with the exception of like 2, is a female.
Yeah, exactly. So like nothing there. I'm kind of surprised. I don't know.
Mm,
So would you be open to a dating show? Because I could recruit you to be a
I told you I'll
bachelor.
do the show. I have no problem with the show.
Yeah,
It's
you
just like
it
I
would be
said,
fun.
it's
And you know
gotta
I
make.
would find you good women. You know I would. You know, like I mean, I think I have
Mhm.
more men. So ladies, if you're interested, DM me, let me know. I can only start this dating show if I have 3 contestants. I'm looking for DJ Fresh right now. For my mod junior. I have more men coming up, surprisingly, wanting me to
ADMC single, and
set
so is
them up.
Big Al.
Oh, I
Big
have
Al
more.
and ADMC
Yeah.
are single.
It's crazy. I have more men coming up to me believing that I could set them up with good women, and all the women are saying no. So you guys heard him today. He seems like a great family man. I mean, he's got these luscious curls over here, right? He's putting on his best behavior right now for Honeyflow, so he'll probably do that for you as well. So take a risk, come on my show, and DM me if you're interested. Just don't be crazy. Like thin line between love and hate, because I'm not trying to set you up with DJ Lex that way. So have you had like any memorable like raids coming for you that you remember with your Twitch show
So
that
I
you're
followed
really
a guy. I don't know if you guys. He's from Australia. His name is Real Shook Ones,
Mhm.
and he's a MC, but he's an IRL streamer too. One day I was streaming late at night, and he goes, "Come in my room," and he goes, "Hey man, I just want before I go on my show, I rap. I like to go and listen to other people and get inspired." And so he hung out in my room, and he said he usually channel hops. He says, but he got stuck in my room, dropped a couple of 5 pieces, and he bounced. I saw that he was live. I rated him. I think I rated him like 30 people. His chat was like 1,000 people in there. He's just rapping people's names and different stuff. And then one day I'm in his room talking to him, and I actually met him at TwitchCon in the street, passing by him. We were passing the crosswalk and we saw each other. Cool dude. He raided me one night with like 800 people. And um it was I don't know if you guys know on Twitch, there's these milestones you get, like 300 viewers in the chat, so many people talking, like there's all, and I checked off like almost all of them and off that raid. It was ridiculous. That was the biggest raid I've ever had, and to this day is still that. And then um just getting, like, honestly for me, like I've been rated like Magic Mike. First time Magic Mike rated me and met me and Magic Mike are now friends. I was telling him when he rated me, I used to have his bootleg tapes when I was little because in Japan they didn't have his music. And he flew me out. Well, he didn't fly me out, but he had me come out to Orlando, and then he took care of me from there. His wife runs a hotel, and then I went to House of Blues. I was backstage hanging out with him and his wife, drinking, watching the show. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, Twitch made this happen. I met one of my heroes, idols as a DJ. I'm sitting here backstage hanging out with him and his wife, and he's telling the crowd I'm his friend. Like we're cool. And he checks up on me on holidays, and I check up on him when he has grandbaby. If he sometimes, stuff like that. So like I've met some amazing people, and like ADMC, he was just my friend who used to come to my house and watch me stream on Sundays. And then one day he was like, I'm a DJ. And I was like, do it. And he did it. And then now he's one. I love the fact that me and him have Sunday service. We have the stuff we go back and forth with. Like he literally just came to my house right now because I always, anytime I know I get weed, I always hit up 80. I'm like, yo, come through. And he literally, for my show, he dropped this off to me.
Oh my gosh.
It's
What
from
happens
the
if you get
dispensary.
something bad? How do you know whether it's, I don't know.
Well, this is from the dispensary, so this better not be bad. It's like, it's literally.
How do you really know? Aren't you really taking a risk? Is it legal there? It's like legal
It's
here.
100% legal here.
Like I feel like we have more shops like that down up the street from my place than
Well, see,
like
everything here is
Dunkin'
regulated.
Donuts
It's
or Tim
FDA
Hortons.
regulated. Like
Yeah.
you can't even. There's so many they're more scrutiny than like anybody. Now, New York City has no ordinance. I can literally go to New York City, open up a corner shop and sell weed. And I can just I ain't gotta tell them where I got it. I ain't gotta tell them if I grew it.
But it
I
seems
ain't gotta tell them
weird
if it's real.
though, because like
What was that?
there's a lot of stipulations like driving and all kinds of stuff. You can't be doing all that, right?
Not here. And right now there's only I think it's 24 states that it's not legal, and only 13 states that's not medicinal. So there's only like really 13 states that's not medicinal or recreational, where almost half the country is recreational, and eventually it will be. Once the thing about it is I know what it is. The government just got to wait to figure out how they can get their money. Once the government figures out how they can get their money, weed prices will go up. Everything's going to change. But I've been an advocate for cannabis since the 90s.
Oh, wow.
And then I quit smoking 10 years cold turkey for the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
When I joined the Air Force for 10 years, I didn't touch it. But the day I got out, went right back to smoking.
Yeah, you look so different in the Air Force. I was like, whoa, look at you. Like I couldn't believe, like, you guys gotta check his Instagram.
Father Damien.
Hi, how you doing, Father Damien? You gotta check his Instagram, guys. I was so shocked to see his Air Force picture. What was it like in the Air Force, and did you go to Iraq or any like different countries?
That's how I ended up living in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. I was a civil engineer, and we were based out of Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So I would fly in, do what we had to do, and then fly back. That's where I would stay. I only stayed in country when I had to. I didn't do too many bear bases except for in Afghanistan, but most of the stuff that I did was logistically out of Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Wow. Would you ever because a lot of people love Dubai, would you ever head down there or retire there?
You can't smoke weed in Dubai.
Oh, so then you wouldn't then. You wouldn't then.
Nah, I mean, the thing about Dubai is, Dubai is beautiful. Abu Dhabi is beautiful.
Heard it is.
And it's actually not that expensive. People think it's expensive. It's not that expensive at all. A guy from Dubai was talking to this Nigerian, and he said, your country is richer than mine. Your country has more natural resources and more thing. My country has better leadership. He says, your country is richer than our country. You have more oil. You have more produce. He goes, we have no produce. Like, you have agriculture, you have infrastructure, you have all this stuff. But because your government's corrupt and your leadership sucks, and again, that's where I always say God. They all serve the same God. They all believe in the same God. So they all believe in the same rules. So they all live the same. And they allow people to live in there that don't, but our God and our rules run everything. So with that being said, I always tell people, like, living there is great if you have no problem living under the rules of Allah. Because there's religious police in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I had some troops of mine were off base. It was a black girl, a white girl, and a black dude, and they kissed in public. Can't do that. These ladies block them in and call the religious police.
Oh, wow. But it's
And
very westernized out there in Dubai too.
it's westernized, but there's still rules. Just like if you go to Singapore and Saipan, you can't spit on the ground. If you spit on the ground, you can get caned.
Yeah,
So
which is
like
crazy.
there's still rules. Like that's the thing. Like people think, and again, if you have the discipline to follow the rules, you're fine. But at the same token, it's like if I take my son to live there, he's 15. If he does something, if he doesn't what a 15-year-old would do here, over there, it's a whole different set of. First time I went to Singapore, I was scared to death because this kid graffitied something in Singapore, and the dad who worked at the embassy flew his kid to LA before the cops could get him.
Wow.
The cops in LA sent him back to Singapore and told him he had to go and he got caned 17 times. And then everything there's televised, everything's televised, and all he did was do some graffiti. And he got caned in the street.
That's insane.
So, my dad's taking me there, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. You can't chew gum in public, can't spit on the ground. Like,
but then people party. But the thing that's so weird is like people party and go crazy in Dubai too. Like,
but you're in the nightclub. You're not in the public. Yes. You never see a party in public. You never see a block party or people outside drinking. There's no social, like people don't drink outside. They drink in the bars that are designated. Doesn't really happen
here in Canada. People that come just basically make their own rules. Like they don't adapt. At least right now.
In those countries, you can't do that. You know, like in Chinatown, the Chinese kind of like do their own thing. In Singapore, Chinatown does their own thing because in Singapore, they're spitting on the ground and graffiti and everything, but they run their own area. But in Dubai, they don't give a shit. They don't care where you're from. You're a guest. You're not from here. And anything you do, if you do it wrong, that's the only reason I wouldn't live there with my family.
Yeah.
I know I can follow all the rules, but my son's my son. I already know.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, Dad, all I did was this. What's the big deal?
Exactly.
And I've seen a lot of American kids go over there with that mentality of like, I just live here. I just live there. I can just do this. I can just do that.
And it's a problem. Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is the issue with a lot of people even in all that stuff is that when I was in Japan, like I was so embarrassed sometimes because Americans are just Americans. Like, I'm sorry, like we go to countries that aren't ours and we feel just because we're American, we can act however we want to act wherever we go. And it's like, you're in another country, but you're like, do you speak English? And I'm like, well, do you try to speak their language at all? Like at least some little sayings or little phrases or whatever. And that's the thing is because we're so used to going to Jamaica or going to Cancun or places and they learn English so they can accommodate us. Canada. I think what's his name? Junie C said the other day that there's some parts of Canada that try to speak English. They're going to look at you crazy. They're going to be like, we don't speak no English here. We speak French. Like, you need to learn French.
There's division definitely with the Anglophone and the Francophone. There's definitely
that's what he said. He goes, you go one place, everybody's talking English. You drive 100 miles the other way and they're like, you try to talk English, they just look at you like,
it's in Quebec. Or they'll just, even if they do speak English, they'll just whatever.
That's what he said. Even if they did, they're like, you're in Quebec. So I used to work at the commissary on the base, and the girls used to speak, like the baggers used to speak in Tagalog or Korean or whatever. And even if I speak Spanish and you talk to me in Spanish and there's people around me that don't speak Spanish, I'm going to answer you in English because I don't feel it's right to the people around us that don't understand. That's just me. And if I'm in your culture, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to at least greetings, questions. Like in Japan, the first thing I learned was how to find something, like where is this place at? And I learned that, and I learned how to find the train station, things like that, where I had friends in Japan. We lived there 5 years and they didn't even barely could say thank you in Japanese.
Yeah. Father Damien had a question a little while ago. He goes, is it true a lot of Air Force pilots ride motorcycles?
Yeah.
He rides a motorcycle.
And fast cars. It's either fast cars because they need the adrenaline outside of the cockpit, a lot of those guys.
Oh man. He Father Damien says, unless you wear a priest collar, then they speak English to you.
Oh, I'm sure Father Damien ain't got that problem.
Yeah, he never has a problem anywhere. It's like, what the heck? People treat him so nicely. I'm like, they
I
don't do
think
that
Father
to
Damien's the
me.
only person that can have twerk emotes on Twitch and not get them taken away because they'd be scared to take them away.
Exactly, right? And DJ Junie, what? I'm sitting on a sponge right now. Get lost. Anyways, let's see here. I know he's awful, Junie. And no, this
It's
is
my
not a
boy
leather.
though. That's
Does this look like
why.
a leather top to you guys? No, it's just like a Metallica
Be,
nice top.
he's been streaming almost 6
He's a
years now
joker
on Twitch.
too, Junie. Oh, Junie's been streaming 6 years.
On
How
Twitch,
long?
yeah. He was on Twitch before it was a thing.
How long have you been?
I look people up.
How long have you been streaming for as well? Has it been 3 years?
Streaming on Twitch will be 4 years in September. Streaming in general,
Wow.
I was streaming before the pandemic. I used Face. That's why I don't have a Facebook account because I was streaming on Facebook before it was cool to stream on Facebook. And
Mhm.
once they started hammering down on the copyright stuff, they started blocking me for stuff I did in 2013, 14, 15 when it first came around. And so after that, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I literally would post something and then hours later, it'd be like, your account has been disabled.
Oh,
For
man.
90 days, 80 days, 180.
Would
I
you
was like,
go anywhere else like the Green app or TikTok or Mixcloud, like start developing any of those? Or are you like,
only place I'm on right now. Well, I have TikTok. I can do TikTok, but I've heard too many. I know a lot of people that went to TikTok and TikTok was
Mhm.
giving them bots to make it look like they had a lot of views.
I feel
And
like
now
every app does that though. I feel like Twitch does that. I feel like,
Twitch
you
ain't do
know,
that to me. I wish they
the
would have.
Green
They
app
ain't do that
does
to
that.
me.
I feel like every app does that. I feel like they overestimate to get streamers, I think, interested. Even Mixcloud, it's like, I don't know if there's 150 people here. You know what I mean?
I've never streamed on Mixcloud. Like
Mhm.
I put my mixes on Mixcloud, but I've never streamed on Mixcloud.
I think it's
I've
just all
only
psychology to get streamers to keep like streaming and, like because we're kind of making them rich. Like, I mean, even though
well,
you don't
I mean,
get
at the end of the
like
day, at the end of
even
the day though, like we're DJs, we have egos, and you give us
Mhm.
5 people. After a while, I stream for 30 minutes, an hour, so we want a room of people. And honestly, for me, I don't care if it's 10 people as long as they're talking. Because if I'm just
Mhm.
sitting there streaming for myself, I can just turn the computer off and do that by myself. So if we're
But
gonna
does the number
engage,
ever mess with you? Because obviously you're doing it full time. So,
no, because I said Big Al told me. I
or do
and
you try to block it? I know
Well, how about
Prodigy
this? I
said he
told
blocked it.
Big Al asked me why do I stream all the time, and I told him how much I make on Twitch. When I told him how
Mhm.
much I make on Twitch, he's like, I've never made this much on Twitch ever. And when he said that, I'm like, I did that in the first like I thought everybody made that on Twitch, like that amount. And he's like, I've never even made that amount. And I'm like, because you're a partner and your numbers are big. And he says, just because you're a partner, sometimes partners just get the attendance. They don't get the support. People
Yeah,
go to a
exactly.
partner room just to get the shout outs to the big room
Yeah.
and be in the room. Whereas I started learning, I was like, well, that means my community supports me. So in that case, like I said, that's when the whole check mark thing kind of like faded away. I
Mhm.
always told myself if my number hit a certain average, then I would push again. But until it hits
Mhm.
that average, I'm not quite there. I haven't checked it in months, but I can just tell I know when my average was 69, what my numbers were. So if I know I'm not quite hitting those numbers, I know I'm not even in the high 60s yet.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah,
Um,
me too on Facebook Live. I used to get 30K plays. I have 5,000, 8,000 in the chat at a time. Like when I came to Twitch, I was like, there's 10 people in here. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
it
I
definitely
fought.
humbles. It humbles some big people because I noticed there's some streamers on here that may be smaller, but they're very very big in real life, right? And I've
I have
talked to
all my
some.
big streamer friends. They left. They all
Yeah,
left.
like I've talked to some streamers that have been like that and they've told me, "Hey, you know what? It kind of humbled me. It humbled me a lot because in real time, they may do stages of 20,000 people. I see some women doing that right now. They may have
Mhm.
12 people in their chat, but they do Lollapalooza. They do that like their TV hosts. They do the major stages around the world, right? So
Yeah.
it definitely does humble you and can kind of mess with you at the same time streaming. And I think every streamer is like that. I don't care how big or how small you are. I feel like
everyone at some point has felt like maybe quitting. That's why it's good to have these honest conversations, right? Because a lot of people will just say what they want to say in the interview and they'll be like, oh, no, it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. And then when you get off the interview with them, they're like, oh, what about the numbers? Let's check the numbers. Like they're all like that. It's just like, why didn't you just be honest? Like in the interview, it's okay to say you want to achieve partner.
I mean,
right?
I don't care about the achievement partner, but I feel like for me,
like not you, I'm just saying
I'm good with a 30, 40 average a month. If I know 30, 40 people hanging out in my room every month, and that's my average, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I always say this: I have this many mods, this many VIPs, and if at least that many people are in my chat, then the people that support me. But there's days my room's been at 50, and I'm like, dang, I only have 3 of my VIPs here and only have 3 mods. In the back of my head, I'm like, if they showed up, I'd actually be at 75. But then the days that they don't, those other people don't show up, that's when those people show up.
But you're on your way, though. You're on your way. Like, and keep in mind, a lot of people
when it happens at this point.
Exactly.
It'll happen when it happens.
A lot of people strategized. You know, I know a lot of WhatsApp groups where there's 100 DJs in there and they're all strategizing, right? Or they'll shut off their shows at a certain time when they see their numbers go down. I feel like it's too much pressure. I get
all that, but this is my thing. If you have 100 people in a WhatsApp group, then why are you strategizing?
Well, they all strategize.
You have 100 people. No, you have 100 people right there that can support you. That's not your community. If you have 100 people in that group, this has always been my problem with Twitch. This is no disrespect to these guys out here who do these think tanks and these groups like the generals and the movement and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But those things work to benefit the person who created it. That's the only person who really benefited from that. The person who came up with the idea to streamline all these things.
100%.
That's the person that got the reward. And guess 100%. What? That person that got the reward, they're not even getting the reward as a DJ. They're getting a reward as a streamer. So I left one of these groups because like within a week, because I didn't like the way it was moving. And I figured if you're running a group, you're going to reach out to the person that left the group and say, hey, what went wrong? What can I do to fix it? Also, why would you have a group with 20 DJs and here's a reggae DJ, a techno DJ, a house DJ? I'm like, you have all these DJs, put all the house DJs together, put all the techno DJs, like create those communities, create those think tanks, those groups. But it's the same thing. Like I'm in the back-to-back group. So the back-to-back group, you know, it's about a good, probably 50, 60 of us in there. Same thing. It's like we support each other as best we can. You know, when we go live, that's how I knew Peach was pushing. That's how I know John Henry's pushing. That's how I know now Little Rock's pushing because of those groups. Think about it. If I was never in those groups, I would never know this person unless I saw it in their title. But how many people write in their title pushing for partner? Like, you know what I mean? So I don't always read that, but like I knew these guys were really pushing. So now I can help you. I can help you because I know and I can even tell other people when they're in my chat, hey, if you see this person live, tap them up for 15 minutes, whatever. But I think with Twitch, a lot of times it's like everybody wants to be a partner, but like nobody wants to help the people become a partner. Or they'll help you become partner, which happened to Big Al, and he'll tell you this. They helped him become partner, and once he made partner, it was like.
That's why I think all this tabbing up and like and I appreciate people doing that, but I feel like you have to really build just your own community because all this strategy, tabbing up, follow for follow, people coming in your chat for like 3 seconds and waiting for their shout out and then rolling out. Like that to me, it's like who cares?
I told my mods to stop shouting people out. Like,
yeah,
I
like
literally said,
and I do a lot of shout. Like I try my best to shout out people, and then they'll just roll out like 2 seconds later, right? And it's just
that's why I even tell my mods, and they're going back to it. And I gotta tell them again, but I'm like, you stop shouting these guys out, especially the ones that you know don't come to my room. Let me conversate with them and have them engage, and everybody engage. Then we're gonna shout them out because that's what happens. Even with raids, like everybody gets raids in. The mods shot everybody out, then the number drops because everybody leaves. They got their 5 seconds and they bounce. Or people come into a room, say hi, wait for the shout out, and leave again. And again, I get it. You're trying to grow, but I did the whole follow for follow thing when I started Twitch. I think I got like 7,000.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that because
everybody was doing it. Everybody's like follow because I was new to Twitch.
No, I didn't bother. And if people got mad,
I figured out later. I'm like, these are empty ass follows.
Yeah, I
But I
didn't
was
bother.
in rooms like when I met PK and Fresh and those guys in 80. They had less than 1,000 followers, but they were getting just as many views as me, and I had 3,000 or 4,000 followers.
Yeah. Speaking of
And
shout out, I just gave you a shout out. I gave you a shout out for letting down your hair, your luscious
thank you,
curl.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
no,
the stuff that I look.
yeah, I know, and I could see like you were definitely working, right? But I think after third or fourth year, things change. Like they definitely change between someone that's doing this first or second year. So I don't know. I just turn
I
on the
was lost.
camera.
I was lost when I first got over here completely
Mhm,
because I feel like the guys that were here, and I hate to say this, but the ones that brought me over here, they brought
mhm.
me over here to do what I do. And then once I started doing what I do and start meeting, I know a lot of DJs from the years of SoundCloud and traveling and everything else. So my network got big quick. So now it's like my first raid train and I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And then now other people come up like, hey, so what's up? Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
that was for his comment. Sorry, I was just saying I'm
Whose
listening
comment?
to
Pretty
you. For
women like
DJ
us.
Junie's comment. You just liked me. It's not that. It's not that at all. You know, the thing I think is crazy too, sometimes you're just
That's
not
what
on
makes your point
show.
sponge. This is
To be
getting
honest
good.
with you, when you stream 5 to 7 hours a day like I have for a long time, sometimes you're just burnt out and you just don't want to be on social media, to be honest with you. And then we've also lost a lot of people that have passed away in on Twitch. It's like 7 people I know that have come through my show, my talk show, a moderator of mine. So after that, your mentality changes, guys. Like I know people get mad and they're just like, "Oh, how come you're not on my show? You're not following me." To be honest with you, you just need a mental break. You just need to unwind. And for you, you go hard, you know, like you go really hard if you're going. I didn't realize you were actually going every day because I don't, to be honest, I don't see you on like the moments I go on, but I'm not really
Well,
on like
I
when
do
I'm,
the red light every night. So every night,
yeah.
and
And now
probably while
that
you're
I know,
sleeping,
I'll definitely, like I'll
probably while you're
definitely,
sleeping, and then
and if
like
it's too spicy, sometimes I'll just lurk. I'll just lurk
a
and
lot of the
watch you.
times, for me, I'm only on like back to back. I open it and like I'm doing Hip and May on Friday. I'm on at 6 a.m.
Uh-huh.
So like Eastern. So when I'm off, like and it's funny because I piss people off because I want to go on it in the midday, and they're like, "Well, you were already on the raid train this morning." I'm like, "Yeah, but nobody saw me."
Yeah.
What happens is I carry all the numbers from the night before from everybody rating me, all the lurkers. I drop them off from the raid train, and then the only people that saw me are like that group in the morning. But all my people that follow me that are sleeping, that get up at lunchtime or later, they're like, "Hey, what time are you going on?" Well, I was
Mhm.
on at 6 a.m. and I'm also West Coast, so
Mhm.
now that's 3 a.m. for us. So now anybody on my coast that wants to support me, same thing. But I do a lot of stuff with DJ K to the J's from Australia.
Mhm.
So on on Sunday nights, I raid him and then he raids me back. And then on Tuesday nights, I raid him and he raids me back. And but I'm able to utilize someone it's their nighttime, so I could take a break because I got to do this raid stream at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I work with a lot of people that help me. He doesn't stream enough.
What
He
is
put that in
wrong
my
with
chat.
Judy?
He
What
put
is
that up.
wrong
No,
with
that's not
you?
Junie. It's Peach. Peach said Lex doesn't stream enough.
Judy. What is wrong with this Judy guy? Let me pull
So
his
what did Judy say now?
hair.
From
Let
now
me
on,
pull his hair. It's like, what the heck? Oh my gosh.
Have you met him in real life?
I haven't met him in real life. Maybe I don't want to be on your spicy little show, Junie. See, have you ever thought about that? Because he bugs me all the time on his show.
On the red
No, it's
light?
not that.
On the red eye?
Actually, to be honest with you, I haven't even seen Junie on. To be honest
You
with
know
you
why?
guys,
He's on at 5 a.m. He's on at 5
yeah. So
a.m.
what do you expect, Junie? I'm not going to stay up till 5 a.m. I'm sleeping. So
You
sorry.
mean wake up at 5 a.m.?
Come on at like 1 p.m. Eastern, and then maybe I'll try checking you. We got DJ Rockwell in the building. He's a joker, man. We got DJ Rockwell in the building, DJ Easy P. So
Hi, hippie woman.
what would be like your goals then? Obviously, maybe possibly to get to partner or keep growing. Like, do you have any goals for yourself, especially doing it
I want to be
online?
able to monetize my show.
Mhm. You
I
know
want to
what
be
you
able
should do? You know what I was thinking? You're a smart guy. Like this interview, like, well, I guess it's more of a conversation. It's been refreshing because I feel like I've learned so much more about you than just watching your show, which I appreciate.
But why don't you start looking at getting sponsors too for your show? Because if you go to like, say, Serato or like a music store, or I know some other guys that have some pretty big sponsors. I'm not supposed to mention, but like I won't mention it, but they have big sponsors. So why don't you start going out and actually doing that? Maybe you get
Well,
sponsors in your area.
and
And
that's and that's
that would relieve the pressure of like also, getting bits or subs coming in, is having some sort
and
of
that's the ultimate
sponsorship.
goal. I've had some sponsors. I've had some reach out, but
Mhm.
it turns into the number game. How many
Mm.
views are you getting? How many people are showing up in your room? Because they're not stupid. They're gonna give you sponsorship, but it's got to make sense for them, you know.
True, true.
So
But
like,
it is like sales. It's like you have to door
yes,
knock like
absolutely.
a
So
lot. It's kind of like getting DJ gigs, right? You got to door knock to well, maybe not you because you have 30 years in the industry, but I know I do. And if I can get sponsorship and I have way lower numbers than you, then surely you can do it too,
well, yeah,
right?
no, and I know that's the case, but like I said, it's just for me, who's sponsoring me and why, and then I gotta
Mhm.
make that make sense because it's like I start my podcast next month. I haven't done one yet, and I start one.
Mhm.
I turn 45 next month, so I have my next. I just finished at this end of this month. I will have finished all my first 5 year plan because I had a 40 to 45 plan, and I
Mhm.
crossed a bunch of shit out. I only had to roll 2 things over, which that's not too bad out of 10 because I do 10 every 5 years, and so this next five
I
is
had something
podcast.
that came to mind, but it's a bad idea and I don't want to
Tell me,
recommend it to you. No, I don't want to recommend it to
why
you.
not?
Because I don't even endorse it. I don't even endorse what
Then
you do. And I got Father Damien in the chat, but it just like popped in my head and I'm like,
I already
no,
got I already got offered to be weed sponsors,
I'm not
and
going to endorse
yeah,
that like
yeah, yeah.
whatsoever. Do you feel
And
like
then you know
yeah.
who so and I'm streaming yesterday
What
and
about you get like hair products not L'Oreal, but like the luscious like curl products? Like I could find a sponsor for you for your hair.
so then I
I'm
have to
not
start
even
wearing my hair down.
Or if
Less
you need like more money coming in, why don't we chop off that luscious hair and you give it away to someone that might need a little bit more hair, you know?
as she
Like you
touches
could
her.
probably make good
Thank you.
money. Have you ever done that? Have you ever cut off your hair and given it to
No, my brother who passed away last well this year, well yeah last year passed away last year. He he that's what he did. He
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah,
Sorry to
before well, you know what's funny? He was donating his hair to cancer kids before he ever got cancer,
Wow.
and then he
How old was he? Sorry to hear that.
47.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I lost my brother, my uncle last year to cancer. My mother lives with CML leukemia. She's lived with it for a long time, and
Mhm.
she takes pills for it. And then right now, my mother-in-law has cancer, and
Wow.
I have about 3 people in my chat that have cancer that we don't talk about in the chat, but they text me, and I know they have cancer.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
and I know one DJ on Twitch right now that still streams, and he's stage 4, and he's
Yeah, I'm
still streaming.
definitely sorry to hear that. And yes, we get floods of DMs with people uh, going through cancer and all sorts of stuff. Father Damien, yes, and he's been such a great resource for me, you guys. I won't say he made me cry on my last female women's panel, but I started like almost crying on the show when I was talking about him. But for real, you guys, he says whisper him, and he'll keep them in your prayers. And for
Oh,
all you guys
absolutely, Father. I'll do that.
and
Absolutely.
for all you guys that don't know, he's actually a priest on Twitch that has more controllers than any DJ I know, over 10 controllers. He gave me one. And yeah, he's a priest and he's a house DJ and he's killing it. Can I say killing it to a priest? But he pretty much is. And he's like fed me lots of times with his personal chef. I've came down to his place many times to
Is he
like
by you? Is he in
steal
is he in
all his
Canada?
food. Yeah, he's in Toronto. He's in traffic about it could be like over an hour for sure, an hour and a half. But on a good day, it's about 45 minutes away. So yeah, it's been amazing. So definitely whisper him for any prayers or
Yeah,
if
for
you guys
sure. I'll
are
do that. Thank you, Father Damien. Appreciate it.
battling anything. Yeah. And that's a lot for you too. That's a lot for you cope with as well, not only doing a show, but trying to be positive, trying to be a role model, trying to be a father. Like, I hope you have
I literally
people.
ADMC was here when I found out my brother died, and we were
Wow.
about to start Sunday service. I streamed in my brother's backyard for like, there was a bunch of streams if you ever saw me with the pool, and I would go to his house and he would go outside and work in the garden until he got tired. Then he would go lay in the bed, but open his door, and I would say, "Hey, I can go." He goes, "No, I have my own personal DJ all the way," and I played for him up until he passed. Like, I was at his house almost every day playing music, because that's how, like, he's one of the few people that still supported me. Like, he was still, like, when I go to his house, he's listening to my Mixcloud. When I go to his house, he's playing my old mixtapes and CDs and stuff. Like, he was a true fan and a true supporter. So when I offered to come over and just play, and I said, I can stream back here too if you want. And he's like, yeah, stream, hang out. And so we would just hang out in his backyard. And so I'm glad, because of Twitch, honestly, because of Twitch, I got to spend the last weeks with my brother, giving him something he wanted. And because of Twitch. So I always, and like, so then my dad said he was in the hospital. I said, should I go? And he says, no. And his mom said, nobody go. And I was like, all right, cool. 80 comes up. I'm helping him pick up his, because he's bringing his controllers and stuff in. And my dad calls me. He says he passed. They were driving to the hospital when they found out. I told him, I didn't tell 80 or nobody, because I was like, what do I do? So I streamed, and then I told 80 before I went, and 80 was like, and I even told him, I said, you guys in my Twitch community and 80, I thank you, because today was a good day for me with you guys. I was able not to stress out about that, because I had you guys here engaged with me, and I know that's what he would have wanted. Because he was one of the few people, when I joined the military, asked me, why am I going to the military? Why am I not going to go pursue DJing? When I got married, I quit DJing in clubs and bars, because I didn't want to stress out my wife, because I knew she couldn't handle it. And that's what I said. I said, well, I want to marry her, and I don't think she'll be cool with that. She'll be cool with me traveling the world, DJing everywhere. So I quit. But after that, I told myself I would never quit what I love for somebody I love. So that won't happen again.
Well, I think you need to be with someone that gets it and supports it, right? And I agree with you. Not everyone's going to support it. Like, when you meet people, they're just like, oh, well, what do you really do? You just DJ? Like, come on. Like I've had guys like laugh at it basically. And I'm like, dude, like, I used to manage an office before. Like, I could say all that and say everything I've done and all my credentials, but like, that's what's frustrating, I think.
I have 5 degrees, honey. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
that's what's frustrating, because like, people see what they see on the outside. Exactly. People see what they see on the out. That's why it's so refreshing sitting down with someone like you, or everyone on Twitch, because I really do feel like people on Twitch, whether they DJ or not, they really appreciate the streamer, and they understand the hard work that goes into this. And they're just like, oh, you're just a DJ? Like, you're this age? Like actually, what's your real job? Like, what do you really do? And I'm thinking, you know what, dude, it takes courage. It takes a freaking amount of courage to be able to do what we do, and to quit jobs or to leave them and do something that we love, right? It may not be for everyone, but, and whether you fail or not, it doesn't really matter. The fact that you had courage to even try this, like, that's, people should be applauding more, right?
I've said this for so many people. Like, I've seen people like give DJs shit because their lighting's not right, or they're something, and they're just kind of going at the DJ in the chat. And I just tell people, I'm like, you have no idea the stress he's on the other side of that camera. He's already freaking out about the technical issues. Now he's got trolls. Like, my moderators, I tell them, don't put it in the chat. Just call me. If something's wrong, call me. Because also, sometimes nobody knows. If that person didn't put it in the chat, nobody would have saw it or heard nothing. Now everybody's got something to say. So,
yeah, that's so true, for sure. So I was going to ask too, I don't want to keep you too long, because I know we're a bit over. I don't know.
I got no curfew. I have no curfew.
You're okay? Okay. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, drop it in the chat for him. I know you guys want to learn more about him, so drop it in the chat. If you guys have any questions, I'll be sure to look out for them. If I miss them, then redrop them in the chat for him, because I know you guys are here for him.
So, and you want to learn more
I'm
about
sure a
him.
lot of them are here for you too, honey.
Yeah, they're here for you. I already know that. It's okay. I'm fine with that. They're here for you and your
Mhm.
long curls. There was a question asking you how long your hair is as well. I think we
When
talked about
it's
that
when it's
earlier.
when it's when it's wet, it touch my butt, but because it curls up, it sits like in the
Oh,
middle of my
wow.
neck.
I must get hot in the summertime too.
I
Maybe.
keep it up. I'm actually lucky because for years, like I had thick hair. Then you get older, it kind of thinned out, and I was like, everyone's like, "You subside." I said, "No, I'm grateful." I was like, "I'm grateful," because I know how hot my hair used to be, and I was like, "This ain't so bad." But yeah, it gets hot. I mean, I don't even. I applaud women because I don't know how. Sometimes when my hair is on my ear, I'm like, it's like it itches because, or like a curl goes in my ear, and I'm like, why? How do people, how do they deal with that? Or
Oh, man.
get stuck in your shirt.
Does
Yeah.
it get stuck in your headphones when you're DJing too?
Oh,
Sometimes
headphones, sunglasses, earrings, like my earring all the time. I'll be pulling the back of my hair and I'm like, ah. Yeah.
that's
All
happened to
that
me too.
happens.
DJ Peach UK says, are you coming to TwitchCon? Where is it again? Is it in Europe? I thought it was.
Is it another one in Europe? I'm looking into it, but I didn't get the dates. What's the dates on that one? I missed the one this year because my father-in-law passed away.
Oh,
He
really?
passed
Oh, wow.
away. Yeah, my father-in-law passed, but he has old age. He passed away. Well, that Thursday they sent him home hospice. I was supposed to leave Friday morning. And my son, that's like, I was like, I asked my son if he wanted to go see him, and my son wanted to be over there every day. So I was like, I can't leave. If he dies while I'm gone, I feel bad for him. And he ended
Mhm.
up passing away that Monday after, but it
Oh,
was a
wow.
good choice to stick behind. I was supposed to go meet IQ and all them for that event, but I went to the TwitchCon the year before, and then
Mhm.
I was supposed to go to the Down Under meetup, but my visa took too long.
Mhm. So I was gonna say, you guys, if you have any comments, like
Father
I know
Damien says he needs some hair. I'm gonna send him
I
some
know,
hair.
that's hilarious. So do I. I'm gonna grab his hair before you do, Father Damien, so I can, use it for myself. But I was gonna say, if you guys have any nice comments for DJ Lex and what you appreciate about his show, because I know a lot of people in this room watch his show. And if you're on his channel, come down to my channel. This is where we're all chatting. This is where it's live under DJ Honeyflow. But what I want is if you guys could come down here and drop some nice comments for DJ Lex. If his show has inspired you some way, it would be nice when he catches the replay, he can catch some of these nice comments about his show. So I'll start off with this one. I like this one. DJ Easy P says, just want to say that I have much respect for Lex, and yet, yeah, good to see he got hair after all. Oh, man. Hippie Mama asked, how many tattoos do you have? That's an interesting question.
11.
11. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, that I do know that one because I've been asked that before.
Are they
I
mostly
want
on
more
your
though.
arms? Are they on your legs too?
Well, I have 3 right here, and then I have 3 here, 3 here, 1 here, and then one on my back. One on my back's like it's a
And
dragon with the
what
tiger
are
coming to
they?
it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what
I have a
are they?
broken heart on my chest.
Oh.
It's actually looks like a real heart that's coming apart.
Mhm.
And then I have a dream catcher here. That was my first tattoo. And then
Mhm.
I have a sun above the dream catcher, some spirits around the dream catcher, turntable arm, if you can see it.
Oh,
It's
here,
coming
let
through
me
your skin.
expand it for them so they could see it. Let's see.
Not this way.
Oh,
See it?
that's cool. What is that? That's a turntable? I can't really
Turntable
see.
arm. See the
How do
arm?
I'm gonna
The
try to
needle?
make hold on. I'm gonna try to make him bigger. How do I do this thing? I'm gonna make you guys all dizzy now trying to figure this out. How do I do this again? Oh, I gotta do it like that. I think the Skrillextina told me to move it like this. Can you guys see it? You guys don't need to see me. Oh, that's cool. That's
See the
interesting.
part and then the cartridges up here.
That looks like that hurt. That hurts. Those big tattoos.
Actually, tattoos on your forearm really hurt a lot less than everywhere else. And then I have my Aries. My birthday is on the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 to protect my hands. And then I'm a Star Wars nerd, so Star Wars nerd. So. And then Chinese star, and then the broken heart, and then the dragon on back.
Oh, cool.
I'm not taking my shirt off. Sorry.
Tiana says you're my favorite Arizona DJ. She's been saying that the entire show.
Yeah.
Easy
God bless
Peasy
her.
been putting up hearts too. Hippie Mama says, part machine. Let's see.
I've Hippie Mama's been another one that's been through, like, when she's going through stuff, she'll come to the chat and we'll pray for her. We'll talk with her. She's in Australia. She's good.
Mhm.
That's fam right there.
Yeah, for sure. Junie says,
Go
you're a
ahead.
very hardworking dude behind the scenes that don't mind helping his fellow DJ, and he will do homework on you.
I
Okay.
will.
Yeah? Oh,
For
you
sure, for
will?
sure. Yeah, because I
Okay.
mean, my thing is, if it's like, if I'm welcoming you into my room, I want to be like, well, not just welcome you, but know something about you. Like, I was on your IG, like what you just did to me. Like, you checked out my IG. Like, you can learn so much about someone just if you hit about on their page. Just if you just click the about button. And a lot of people don't do that. Like, so
Mhm.
I just try to like really like do that. Because then it's also, I know, like my main thing, my quote for 2024, I tell my chats all the time, I only try to deal with like-minded people, because I spend a lot of time trying to either adjust the way I think to the way other people think, or trying to influence people to think the way I think. Where it's like, I'm at an age now where I feel like I should just have to deal with people that, if we're on the same wavelength and same page, let's go. But if we're not, then I'm sorry, I gotta kind of like leave you right here. And nothing personal. It's just that I don't want to. I'm so big on. I've given people so much of my energy over the years. I've been like from 2013, or 13ish, probably to like 20, for like 7 years. I was part of a crew, and I put that brand over everything. And then when everything happened during COVID, when I realized that crew didn't have my back, I spent 7 years promoting them. And I've only spent the last 4 years promoting myself. Like,
Interesting.
the way I use the Lex brand now, I never use the Lex brand. If I was part of a crew, I always put my crew before myself. Always. Because that's just, I grew up in the 90s, is what you did. If you're a part of a B-boy crew, you're a part of the B-boy crew. If you're part of DJ crew, you're part of DJ crew. If you're part of the graffiti crew, MCs, whatever, hip-hop group, whatever you're a part of. But like, the loyalty there to me was like, we're crew. Crew's first. Because I knew some crew to me was more than family, you know? So I had to learn the hard way that not sometimes these other DJs, especially bedroom DJs or DJs that didn't go through the culture, they don't have that same mindset. Like
Mhm.
Junie C, he's rocked turntables, he's rocked CDJs, he's rocked controllers. He's met some of the biggest DJs in the world and gone back to them, and he's played, the little bar down the street. But a lot of these guys have never left their bedroom. So when you talk to them about energy, or about streaming, or about DJing, the culture's different.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
respect is different.
What would you
Because
say? Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that. Like, because you have 20 plus years in the industry, and I'm sure you've seen a lot, and maybe, obviously DJs could be competitive. Your friends say they got your back, and they could be the same friends that steal your equipment. I've
Mhm.
seen all that. I've seen all that over the years, which is quite surprising actually. Like, how do you, like, I don't know, I guess, surround yourself with good people in this industry, or how can you kinda gather
I
that?
had to
Like,
do a flush about a year
yeah.
ago, maybe 2 years ago, where I was being attacked by people online, and the people that were liking the post and commenting on the post, people were telling, I didn't read, I don't care what people think about me. So if you write a post about me and it's talking shit about me, I'm never gonna read it. So I just want to let anybody know that right now. If you write something about me online and people are like, look
Mhm.
at all these comments, I'm not even gonna read it, because I don't care what you think about me. I care what I think about myself and what my family thinks about me. Like, I don't care what he thinks about me. That's it. Like, everybody else, because I've learned this a long time ago. You don't know what someone's going through, and you're going to judge them at that moment in time with only hearing one side of the story. A good friend of mine said something to me once. I heard this. Well, let me tell you what happened. Oh, you ain't got to tell me. It's cool. Like, I just want to let you know I heard that. But that same friend that I didn't want to hear my side, any person that he talked to about that situation would only tell the other person's side, but never wanted to hear my side.
Mhm.
So that was the moment I realized, you know what? I'm only gonna deal with like-minded people, because I was that guy who kept my enemies closer, and I would still work with them, because even though I knew they hated me, knew this, because it was just like, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to go to war with anybody. But I knew it was like, I knew the minute they saw blood in the water, they were going to attack. And they did. But I pissed off a lot of people in the industry because I chose to go full time on Twitch and not go full time IRL.
But why would that make them upset? Because they're working with you doing IRL gigs?
Because they couldn't do it.
Oh, so you think it's
Because
just
they tried. Because they
down
tried to do what I did, or
Yeah.
emulate, or they saw what I was doing, heard how much I was making, or whatever, and then they said, "Have me go help them set up their stream." And but it's like anything in life. It's like you're not gonna be a good football player unless you put the work in. You're not gonna be a good streamer. I'm not gonna say DJ, because a lot of people that I know, there's guys on here that just play music and talk between the songs, and they're great because they're a good streamer.
Yeah.
And if you're in my opinion, a lot of people don't know the difference. They think just because they're a good DJ, that classifies as being a good streamer. No,
100%. Yeah.
not at all. Because there's some of the best DJs in the world that come to Twitch, and they pull this. I'm watching on my feed. Like, I'm watching a no-name DJ who's been DJing on Twitch for 4 years or 3 years, pulling the same number as that DJ who's been DJing for 50.
Yeah.
And it's because, in my opinion, like, it's like the guys that played vinyl didn't want to go to Serato. Like,
100%.
I'm a purist. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And then as time progresses, they're like, shit, I got to catch up. Right. And it's kind of what happened with streaming. It's like the people that got it. I mean, as a 30-year DJ, you feel like, well, damn, how did he get partner if he's only been DJing for a year? And he's never done anything else. Well, it's because he knows how to network himself. He knows how to carry himself on the mic. He knows how to have good stage presence, a good whatever. And he built a network of people that support him. Those are the same DJs that go to a club and there's 10 people there because they don't know how to bring people to the club. So I took Twitch as just treated like a club. This is my club. How do I want to get people to come to my club?
So would you say like how you are in front of the camera is pretty much how you're off in front? Because I know a lot of guys put on, in general.
I mean, all of us embellish a little extra.
On, like, personas. Yeah,
we all throw on a little extra.
So would you say it's kind of like your persona, or would you say that that's kind of like really how you are?
I'm a smoking, shit talking, music loving dude. And that's why I bring my kids on the show. That's why I talk about them, and I make the show about my real life. Like, I watch podcasts. Sometimes we watch podcasts on my show just because I want to be able to have content. So when I'm talking about it, everybody's on the same page. Like, I'll talk about something, be like, I didn't see that podcast. We're going to watch it on Thursday if you want to see it, or go watch it, because there's so much information out there on our fingertips that it's like, I have so much useless knowledge in my head that I'm just like, I use it on my show. So you might not have that same conversation if you're in person, but the same token, my mannerisms ain't going to be different. That's why ADMC is my best friend. Like, he knows, like, he's hung out with me off the camera and hung out with me on the camera. And he always says, that's Lex, And then there's also, like, I'm that person that, like, when I'm in front of the camera, I also feed off the energy of the room. So if we're just in there chilling, smoking, listening music, or just talking, I let that happen. And then all of a sudden you get that big raid and all the energy in the room changes because they came in ready to party. Or that one person it's my birthday, and now the energy is that direction. It's no different, man. I take every stream for what it's worth. And I just want to have a good stream at the end of the stream. I'm just lucky that my kids love what I do. They respect it. I remember the first time I got a check over $1,000 on Twitch. I screenshotted it and I sent it to my mom, my dad, at the time my ex-wife, my 2 kids, and a couple other people I knew. I sent them a copy of the check and I said, thank you for believing in me, because with your support, I was able to achieve this. And once I showed them that, a lot of them changed. Like, my dad's like, are you going to stream tomorrow? We wanted to go do this. Like, well, yeah, I was. My dad will literally hand me $100 and say, don't stream. And I'll say, what's this for? Well, you were going to get tipped and stuff, right? So if I give you that, you're good for the night. Like, if you take the day off, you're straight. Sure. Because for him, he knows that's how I make my money. So Don't get me wrong, I'll stream some nights I make big goose egg, but I might have had a great numbers night or just a great night. Then there's nights I stream for an hour and do a raid train and I hit a level 7 hype train. You know, you gotta take every one of those streams the same. You can't treat any of them differently or do anything else. Because I was that person that was opposite. I didn't know. I had no idea until I started hanging out bigger DJs' rooms. And I'm watching them for an hour. And I'm like, okay, they ain't make nothing either. Maybe a sub. So then I didn't feel like it's because I'm a bad DJ or I'm a weaker streamer. It's just human nature. Sometimes people go to the bar, the drink's $3, and they slide $3 across the bar and grab the drink and walk away. Sometimes they slide a $5 and walk away. Sometimes you get that person that slides $20 and says, keep the change. Everybody's gratitude is not always going to be the same, you know, and not everybody's going to be whatever. I've been on Twitch for 4 years. I didn't have my first tier 3 sub until Peach did it. My first tier 1 sub was this year too, and Noah's mommy did it. But I've been on Twitch for how long? Nobody's even attempted to like even subscribe to those things, you know? And again, it's like, but if I quit it, I never would have got that. So it's like, I just keep moving forward. And I hope one day that like my preparation matches my opportunity.
I think it definitely will. I mean, I remember you from the beginning, you know, when I met you like earlier on, and you've grown so much, right? So
Thanks.
I think
You
just
too.
keep being, yeah,
you too.
But I just literally just pressed.
I remember
live
it was just you in the hat and the head sticking out. That was
it?
one of my favorite streams. You had the fedora on and like just your head.
Oh my
That's all we
god.
saw.
Yeah.
You didn't show your decks or nothing. That was it. That was the whole thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, who's this little cute little bobbing head right here? It's Honeyflow. Well, what tricked me out was you was playing dub plates, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who is this lady? And
I don't
was like,
remember.
dub plates. Oh no, I didn't say nothing. I just was watching. I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
I'm the king lurker, by the way. Ask anybody that knows me. I am the master lurker. You'll come to my room and I'll tell you all about your show. And I'm like, oh, you were doing this yesterday. I'm the master lurker.
How you doing, Olga? Good to see you. I know, isn't it funny looking back at your first shows? Like, it's hilarious looking back at the very first moment. Were you ever like really nervous? Like something happened and it just caught you off guard? Like, were you ever nervous either doing real time or streaming gig?
Well, for me, the hard thing was I was on the Gumbo raid train, and that's the Los Primos raid train, and they were like, "Hey, we got you at this time," and I think I got raided like 200 people, and my stream died.
Oh shoot!
And everybody was like, "Oh shit!" Right? And I didn't even attempt to go live again. I just closed OBS, reopened OBS, and then went live. And it kept, right? Somehow the number dropped. And then I got a rating for 100 people. So I brought the number right back to what it was. And I was like, but I'm the type of person now where it's like, I don't panic on those situations because like, once you learn, it's like DJing in the club. The sound goes out, you know immediately, look here, look here, look here, look here, to see what the problem is. And once I got that feeling in streaming, like, okay, you know, check my internet connection first, and then go backwards. You know, go check my CPU usage and go backwards. But if we don't fail, we're not going to succeed. So if I never had those failures, then when it does count or it's important, I probably wouldn't know how to bounce back. I raided an empty room once, and I was pretty embarrassed about that. After that, never did that. You know, I was gonna raid Junie this morning, and I went in his room first, like I always do, and he was paused. So I messaged in the group like, "Hey, you," and he's like, "Nah, it's not working." But a lot of people just see, "Oh, he's live. Let's go." I like to check because I run raid trains, and I know what it's like to work hard to get these numbers to where they are, get everybody good raids, and then, you know, the guys later on in the raid train gets not screwed, but things happen. But it's like, if we would have just slowed down a little bit before the raid, like, oh, I don't like to be late. I don't like to be. Don't be late, but also, what if you're on time and they're not ready? Because I had that happen to me before. Kobe Hustle's moderator when he switched over to DJing because he used to only do IRL stuff, and then he went to DJing. And his moderator just says, "Why raid right when he tells me to raid?" I said, "Check to see if the guy's on," but I had to educate them. And I just happened to be seeing the OBS in front of me, and I saw the raid come in, and I hit live at the same time. I'm sure some people left, but it was like, I told her, I was like, you can't do that, because a bigger streamer or a seasoned streamer, they take offense. Like, I've had guys on raid trains that tell me, who am I raiding or who's raiding me? Because they want to, we're our own brand. We're our own person. And it's so hard because for so many years we had to like protect our brand and protect our person. Now when you're working with somebody else and if they hurt you, then you feel like these guys take offense, and especially the seasoned DJs. I feel like the streamers kind of be like, oh, shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
But the seasoned DJs that like, they want their show to be perfect and everything to go right, like those guys get upset.
Because we could be perfectionists in this industry, I think. Like
we
anyone
can, but also a lot of times the problems happen on raid trains because the guy that's streaming, his only intention is to drop people off, and he's not even gonna pay attention to the next dude.
Mm-hmm.
Reason I like Sunday service so much is because all of us support each other even outside the raid train. Same reason I like back to back. Our community supports everybody outside the raid train. Like, hey guys, I'm going live. Little Fever's done that before. Like, hey, I'm going live tonight, guys. In Little Rock's done it too. I'm going live tonight. I'm gonna be done at this time. Who's gonna be on? Anybody want to catch a raid for me? And that's so powerful to a group of men or a group of people or streamers that, I'm offering a good raid for whoever wants it. Now somebody might have an opportunity to like, my show's every Thursday. I never have a good raid. Thank you. Whatever. But it's just sad to me. Like, you'll see a raid train with 15 people on it. And to me, every streamer should have 45 people in this room. This is why. The streamer, at least one of his VIPs is going to support it, and at least one of his mods. So if you have 15 people on a raid train, there's no reason that every room should have at least 45 people in it. At least. Because again, if you have at least one of the people from this raid train and 2 people from your community come to that raid train, that's 45 people. Now, if your community shows up, now you're at 75. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, and moderators and VIPs don't realize when we ask them, hey, can you just take a couple minutes of your time to just check out some of these DJs? That's the power that our community can have to somebody else. That little bit, that little piece of pie can help.
No, I agree. But then also people have lives like off of Twitch, and I think sometimes
you know what? Then don't do the raid train.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No. I get that.
And that's my issue. A lot of guys want to be on a raid train because they only want to get their little hour of fame and bounce. It's no different than the headlining DJ that doesn't watch any of the openers, shows up at the very end, plays his set, and goes home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What happens if they work? What happens if they work? What happens if they have to pick up their kids? What happens if they have to drive somewhere?
Then give somebody else the opportunity who can bring his community.
So do you think so then you think that if you do a raid train with someone, you should be on there like 14, 16 hours, like seeing everyone?
No, but if it's a 14, 16 hour raid train that you can't support, don't do it. Do the raid train you can't support. Do the 3s and 4s and 6s.
So you're basically saying that if you're on a raid train, you should be on there 15, 16 hours that day for that raid. What happens if you do raids every day?
You know how easy it is to go click and walk out your house and you're on that raid train all day?
No, but that's tapping up someone. That's not really.
That's still 45 views.
So yeah. So then the tabbing up
again. If we're doing this raid train to build us up.
Yeah. So then the tabbing up
with your physical.
No, I hear what you're saying.
At least give your view.
Yeah. So then the
but
tabbing
some of these
up
guys don't even give their view.
No. I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying, but I don't know. I guess I just come from a different philosophy than that now. Maybe it's just my own mindset. But if you're trying to grow, I get it. Like if you guys are all doing it together. But I'm not.
I run 3 raid trains that people reach out to me every day.
I don't think
People reach out
tabbing up
every day asking, "Can I be
does
on this
anything.
raid train? Can I be on this raid train? Can I be on this raid train? Can I be on this raid
Yeah.
train?"
Yeah.
And that person doesn't even come to my room,
Mm-hmm.
but they want me to give them a platform to be seen on.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people send out a thing and say, "Everybody jump on this raid train. Pick a slot." Right? So now everybody picks a slot. But you got a house DJ going into an R&B DJ and an R&B DJ going into a reggae DJ and like, so what are you really creating? What are you really doing? Now, if you watch like the Jamaican community, the African and those guys, like they're real big on like keeping this format the same and everybody supporting one another. And I see a lot of people that just want to jump on for their 5 minutes.
No, I hear what you're saying.
If you want your 5 minutes, then go get your 5 minutes over here.
So
Don't take a platform
Yeah.
where there's people who are hungry, because there's a lot of DJs don't get that opportunity, but they would sit there and support every
So
DJ.
why
They
don't
would.
you why wouldn't this be the solution then? Because everyone has different thoughts, different opinions. I literally just go live now. I could care less. If I'm doing this full time, whatever, I'll just press the button, which isn't probably the best solution because Twitch gives zero visibility. So I get that. Like I get that for myself that that's not the best solution. You do have to team up with people. You got to use a bit of strategy. I've talked to a million partners, all that stuff. So I get what, especially if we're both doing this full time, I get your perspective. But why don't you talk to whoever's in your group and have that communication?
That is the communication in my group. And those raid trains we do,
then it'll be effective.
and that's why the one we do on Thursday is 4 people. And the
Yeah.
one we do on Sunday is usually 5 or 6. And that's why on Sundays our viewership is always 30 to 40 people.
Exactly. So if you tell everyone to tab up,
I don't have to tell them.
for me, I don't bother. I'm like, what's the point?
I don't have to tell nobody nothing because everybody understands if we're on Sunday service, you're on Sunday service.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to be part of Sunday service, then you're part of Sunday service.
Yeah.
It's like back-to-back Monday. I stream at 6 o'clock in the morning, but from like 7 or 8, I'll sleep until like noon. But I promise you, every DJ that's on is getting my view.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm checking in all day with all the other guys.
So that's good to know. That's good to know. Like as long as you guys communicate it out, tab up. For me, I'm not like follow.
It's not even about the tab up. It's I'm saying to them, I can't support you because I'm sleeping, or I can't support you because I gotta go to work. I can't support you because my kid has this recital.
Because you have a
but
life.
I can click on my computer, open up the raid train, and walk away.
Yeah.
And walk away. Because guess what? I chose to be on this raid train. True. I asked to be on this raid train. I took a slot on this raid train. So if I did that, I need to do that with the intention of I'm going to give every single person on there at least my view. At least my view.
But you're not viewing. You're just, you know what you should do is I heard there's an automated thing that you could literally, as soon as someone presses live, I don't know what program it is. As soon as you press live.
Ashton uses it.
Yeah, I didn't want to say.
I know what it is.
I know what it is. I've called him out and joked about it, saying he's a bot. Like I don't want to.
But also I know this.
I love Ashton.
Ashton also is engaged with at least every single one of those people and knows Ashton because they've engaged with him at one point.
Yeah, but I mean, I think maybe that's a good idea if that's the strategy you guys want to use. For me, I just feel like you got to build your own community some way, somehow. And if people really want to be there, they'll be there for you. If not, then.
But if you can't build your own community, then why are you asking to be on a raid train? If you can't work on yourself and your own page by yourself, you cannot hit, like you just said, I can hit live and go live by myself right now.
Yeah.
If you don't have the goal or audacity to do that, the only time you're going to do that is if you know you're going to get a raid because you're joining this raid train, then you're doing a disservice to that raid train.
I hear what you're saying.
Your intention for that raid train is just to get those little bit of views, get your 5 minutes of fame and walk away.
But raids don't always. No, it's not using. Raids don't always help either. Who cares if you have 100 people in your room and you're on a raid train? I could honestly.
They do. They do. Because if they didn't care, they wouldn't be. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be on the raid train. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be on the raid train. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be on the raid train.
What you're saying.
If they didn't care, they would just hit start on their own and go.
But it doesn't translate to a following. Just because you have 100 people in your room, that doesn't translate to following. Like
it's not about following to them. Obviously, if it was about following to them, they'd go build a community. If it was about following to them, they're not building. They don't want to do none of the work. They want to show up and play, and they feel like just like in a club. Think about it from a DJ standpoint. Stop looking at it from a streamer standpoint. From a DJ standpoint, If you got a DJ that wants to play in a club, well, what time do I play? You're playing at 10. No, I don't want to play at 10. I want to play at 12 when the people are here. Nobody wants to play at 10. Nobody wants to play that openings 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock slot because nobody's at the club. Those DJs want the later slot. Same thing on the Ray Train. They don't want to just go live in their room because there's nobody going to be there. They want to go live on the Ray Train, even if 5, 10 people are going to be there because that's more viewers than they were to get if they went live by themselves.
Yeah.
They're just doing it for viewership. They're not doing it for follows. They're not even doing it for the money. They're doing it for their 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah, some people may definitely do that. I agree with you.
And the ones that don't, those are the ones that at least are making efforts to at least be in everybody's room or stop by, or at least, hey, I couldn't make your stream when you're on the Ray Train, but here I am on Tuesday checking out your show on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be part of this group of community, then support that community. If you want to be with these 10 females on this all women's group, cool. But if you can't catch these 5 females, then try to catch them another time. But these guys, a lot of times, if they won't even follow those people. I've watched guys that I'm like, you're not even following that dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in this Ray Train, but you're not even following the guys that are on the Ray Train. But you want everybody when they come to your room, follow me, guys. And then
I get that. I get that. I mean, you're giving me a different perspective. I'm not disagreeing. We come from different, I think we're both passionate. That's why we could both go at it. I have a feeling,
my point is, like I said, it's just that I watch this all the time. And I just think that, like, I watch so many people, like, even me, like, you've never been in my room, but you're sending me a message to be on my Ray Train.
No. I get
DJ on this Ray Train. And I'm 100%. Like, why?
I get that from a lot of guys too. And you've never been in my room. Yeah.
I do my homework. I go to their room. I watch them. And I realize they have no viewership. They have no interaction. So their moderators doing their job. I'm going to try to get you in with this community over here.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, tell that DJ you need to start spending time in those rooms. And then we'll recognize you. And then when you ask, guess what? Now I'm going to follow. Now I'm going to go check you out.
Someone you don't even know, if they ask you on a Ray Train, and say if they have an okay Ray Train, but they're much smaller streamer, and they ask you, would you say yes or would you say no? Because you've never seen them in your room. They've never come to your room. Like,
I'll ask them why. I'll ask them, why do you want to be on my Ray Train? What is your reason? Tell me why.
They ask you, maybe because, who knows? It could be because you have a higher number. It could be because of
whatever their answer is determines where we go from there. If they tell me, well, I see you run this train and it's successful, I'm trying to grow on Twitch, then I'll say, you know how you grow on Twitch? You have to actually go on these Twitch avenues and hang out with people. You need to grow your community. You need to find like-minded DJs that want to support you. I have a friend that literally was ready, like, similar to quit, and he picked 3 days to stream: Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And he's been consistent. 5 views, 3 views, 2 views. And lately, 35, 45. He's getting raids now of 100, and he's only been doing it for a few months. Why? He stayed to those same 3 times and never stopped, no matter what the viewership was. Those guys that want to be on those Ray Trains will not commit to something like that. They will not sit there and create something and just go and 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 go, whether there's 5 guys, 10 guys, or 100 guys. They only want to jump in, and and honestly, you'll see it. If you only see names on a Ray Train, but you never see them live, that's who they are. That's those guys. And some guys can only do Ray Trains, and I get that. But the same token, it's like, I'm on the Ray Train too, but you don't see me at 12 o'clock when I'm closing it out. You don't see me at early when I open it up, but I make sure I at least pop in your room and say hello to you. You know, that's why Sunday service for us, we're passionate about, like, they say, I want guys that are going to come be on our Ray Train, but I want guys that are going to be on a Ray Train, but we're also going to support each other throughout the week. Like, if I'm telling all the guys, like, our group chats, like, back to back Sunday service, all those group chats, we make sure, like, hey, such and such is going live. You know, he's 5 short of this. Everybody pull up, and we'll pull up.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think K-Matic or K-Immaculate and those guys, Ashton, they're all very supportive of each other. DJ Fresh, like, that crew and that group.
The Get Right group.
Tasha, yeah. Like, they're all. I've never seen a group so supportive on Twitch. From looking at that group, I was like, wow, like, they'll all pull up for each other, and I think that's incredible. And you know what they do. So I get it. It does take, I guess, maybe a bit of strategy. And you gave me some advice that I'm thinking of.
It takes a community, And if you don't have a
Yeah,
community, you
for
can't
sure.
just go sit in a community hoping they're going to ask you or bring you and make you part of
No,
their
I get
community.
that. I totally get that. And you gave me something to think about because I don't do the tab up thing. Or sometimes, like when I've done a long stream, I just need a mental break. So I just shut down and I don't even go on Twitch. Right. And I've been guilty of that for like probably over a year, especially losing so many people. I'm just like, my frame of mind is just not there. Like,
You know,
I'm
if you
doing
rate
this,
somebody and you
but
bounce, your community bounces
mhm.
because they're looking for you.
Or when I do raid no, when I do raid in, I definitely try, like, sticking and saying some stuff in the chat, right? But if I'm driving or if I raided someone and have a real-time gig, I'm packing up my equipment, right? But
No,
I
no,
do
and that
I
all, yeah,
try to
that
be
we all have
present.
that. I get
Yeah.
that.
But I
But
think
I tell you all the time, I'm
maybe
like,
to
don't
do
raid
that
in and bounce. Don't
but
raid in and bounce. Because a lot of people raid in and bounce. And I just tell them, just if you stay there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just kind of chit
yeah.
chat, what usually happens like a party. Once people from your raid train start seeing people they know, oh, I know such and such. Now I'm gonna stay. I know such and
Mhm.
such. I'm gonna stay. And I watch all. I mean, and it's no different. A lot of times, people that want to be part of something, they don't know how to even ask the question. That's why I
Mhm.
like. That's why I say, why do you want to be on it? I've
Mhm.
helped plenty of streamers find moderators, start building your community, and then come over here and then ask to be part of something. Because if you're a new streamer, and so Drew Williams said it best. He said, not everybody needs to be on your raid train.
Mhm.
Not everybody is the caliber of DJ that deserves to be on a raid train because it's like a bar or club. If you're having a demographic of people, you're not going to want a bunch of DJs that nobody wants to see except for this guy. Because now you created this raid train where nobody's supporting or they're just leaving and coming, leaving and coming. It's not the ones that are successful, Boom Bap Monday, Back to Back Monday, Hippa May, they're like-minded. You know, they're focused on the same goals. So all those guys are right there supporting. And you got your stronger
For
DJs
sure.
between your weaker DJs to give everybody an equal opportunity. You're not stacking the deck of all the good DJs right here. It's like spread out. And a lot of raid trains do that where they'll be like, only the guy that's running the raid train will make sure he's always the guy that gets the good raid. I've watched those raid trains
Oh,
where they're like,
yeah, I've seen that. I've
they're,
been on
they're
raid trains
asking me to
where
be on the raid train because they want me to be the guy that raids that guy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it because these other guys are getting screwed every time. And
I
I
was
just don't
on
want
a
to be part of
raid
that.
where this guy's like, "You have to be available at this time," and we literally did. He's like, "You gotta make sure you're available because I can't change it." And then I blasted him out in the group. I'm sorry, guys. I just got so fed up. But then he's like, "Oh, I got a bigger female. Sorry, Honeyflow. I got a bigger female DJ, pretty much than you." And that really got me so vexed. And that's where you saw my chihuahua side come out, and I literally blasted him, and I don't really care. I don't care what people think.
As you should, because he didn't really care about
Well, he didn't
categorizing
care
you
about
as
my time. He didn't care about my time, and he said he got a bigger female DJ, and he just like totally cut me. He's like, "Oh, sorry, too bad." So, and he would always position himself with he would go on 2 or 3 times in the raid. So he would position himself with the most that had the most numbers. So if
yep,
my numbers were higher in my following, and like people use you all the time in this industry, right?
yeah.
And I know some people have said, "Oh, Honeyflow, sometimes you could say the wrong things or say something." I'm like, "You know what? I don't care. When it comes to respect, like some people don't have it in entertainment and that's my time. And you don't do that to someone, right?" So I blasted
And
him
I've
in a WhatsApp group. People probably
so
thought I was
long
crazy. But then
my
none of
per-
these guys, sorry, I'll just say this, but
no, but
none of these guys I had guys DM me and be like, "Right on, Honeyflow, he did that to me." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you say something? I'm looking like the crazy woman in the group." And
you know
they're
why?
"They're
Because
too
it's like you
afraid to
said,
say anything." And I'm like,
you
"You
got to
should
keep your
say
enemies closer
something."
sometimes.
Yeah, but do you think that's why do you say that? I'm curious. I mean, in this industry, we have lots to
Because you
do.
work in this industry, and if you ever worked in this industry, you know that's small. It's a small group of us. There might
Yeah.
be 1,000 DJs, but there's a small group of us who really do what we do.
Yeah.
And I had the situation happen on Blend Masters. There was a guy in the group. They raided an empty room, and I made a comment saying, "How you guys gonna let this happen?" And then the guy in the group says, "Not everybody is an experienced DJs like you, Lex. Chill. He's not. He's inexperienced." And I said, he's inexperienced, but there's 9 other DJs in this group and in this room that saw he was raiding an empty room.
Mm-hmm.
So you could let him fail because you guys had too much pride. But the guy that I found out was coming at me sideways, he's a big DJ in his city, little DJ on Twitch.
Interesting.
And
yeah.
by little DJ, meaning all the guys in his city that are little DJs in the city are big DJs on Twitch. But he's a big DJ in the city. So they have to keep the relationship not, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he's a key keeper in their city.
Mm-hmm.
So if they battle him on Twitch and talk, like you said, call him out, talk shit, do whatever. When I did it to him, they all messaged me and said, thank you. We can't do that because he's a gatekeeper in our city. So sometimes you got to keep relationships because you can't burn the bridge because in your city, that's the only bridge. You know, and
yeah,
that's,
you're right. You're right.
so there's so many demographics in the DJ world that's what the people don't see. It's like, I know bedroom DJs that call me and be like, hey, this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let me see the back of the mixer. And I'm like, you got it plugged into auxiliary. And I don't even have to like see it. I can just see it from like real quick. Well, how do you know that? I put it in the red and white one. I go, did you even read what it says? No, all they did was they had a red and white wire and looked for the thing that was red and white and stuck it in there. But somebody who's a seasoned DJ knows that's an input, not an output. But if you've only worked in the bedroom, unless you've been in a situation like when I was in Mexico, I use this as my headphone. I use this as my microphone.
Oh, nice.
And DJ Mr. Wilson messaged me and said, tell me you've been a 20-year DJ without telling me you're a 20-year DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody that was in my chat was like, are you talking into your mic, into your headphones? Like, well, yeah, how do you do that? And they're all DJs I know who only play in their bedroom. I was like, you've never been in a gig where you forgot the mic and you had to improvise.
Yeah.
So again, it's like some of those people, like I said, it's like they keep the bridge because they don't, it's like, and just like on Twitch, it's like, well, that's the only community that fucks with me. If I fuck out that community, no other community really gives me no other community gives me Ray Train. So if I yell at this guy, I'm not going to be anywhere else. So I see it. Father Damon, I would agree 1,000%. It's just a lot of people
but keeping quiet just keeps that bad behavior going.
And guess
I hear what you're saying. At that point,
I'm not the one, honey. I'm like you, Honeyflow. I'm like you.
Point, I couldn't keep quiet. I was like livid. I'm like, you wasted my time, man. I don't care if you're like a dude that's like twice my size. I'm gonna call you out on it. I can be nice, but when you reach that point with me, sorry. Like, but it did burn bridges. But it did burn bridges with me for sure, because a lot of people, a lot of groups didn't invite me to some of their stuff, and people were talking. But I'm like, you know what? People that know my true character and they know who I am as a person, you know, they know that I wouldn't just throw something up for the sake of throwing it up. So I'm like, if, you know, like I know some of my mods are like, what the heck? You shouldn't have done that. I'm like, I can't help it. I'm sorry. That guy disrespected me. So I'm going to call him out on it. Like, but it did cost me, but I'm like, you know what? If people perceive what they want to perceive of you online, then so be it. I'll hit the record on my own and go live on my own. And I've done it for a couple years after that. And I've done it on my own. And, you know, it may have been a smaller crawl to build, but at least I can be proud that I did it. I don't need, and
you didn't do it using people like he did. You didn't do it using people like he did.
I don't think he's on anymore.
Like I said, even if that person would have made it to the top, I promise you it's going to plateau, because you can only use people so much. And then after a while, they're going to see through it, and then you can't go no higher.
But there's like 3 or 4 guys that DM'd me and said, hey, Honeyflow, you did the same to me too. And I'm like, why don't you speak up? Like, I'm the only one. I couldn't do it, you know?
And that's why. That's the only reason I can tell you.
I feel like you would do that. I feel like you would speak up.
I would tell them off right there on the spot.
Yeah.
On the spot. Like, I don't play that. No, I had a guy that was doing to me I was rating them on Friday mornings, but he would be asleep when the train would be going, but nothing that was supposed to happen was happening. So then I would raid into the train, and then the way that it's supposed to work was the train was supposed to raid me on the back end. Right. And every guy, the last guy would say, he didn't tell me that. He told me to go over here. He told me to go over there. And then when I asked him, he's like, oh no, that's not what I told him. So then finally I just went in the group chat and I called him out, and then he removed me from the group chat. Because he knew, like at that point he knew, but I wasn't gonna let him I wasn't gonna let him use me, like, you know, because you're using me to raid into your raid train every morning. But all I asked of you, because he asked me what do you want, I said, can you just have the last, because the raid train ended as overseas, so it ended like at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's
For
5
sure.
p.m. That's 5 p.m. my time. So I was like,
Yeah.
raid me at 5, and I'll raid you every morning. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. And then didn't happen 1 week. Oh, just give me one more week. Didn't happen the second week, you know. And then when it happened the second week, I'm that guy. So the third week, I said, if it doesn't happen this week, I'm out. No, it's gonna happen. It didn't happen. I said I'm out. All the dude said was, no problem. Thanks for your time. So he already knew. He was using me for that. So
No, I hear
but
it.
again,
I hear what you're saying. I hear everything you're saying. I really do. Even if we may have differences of opinion, you've given me some food for thought. And this brings me back to this comment here, which I love because it's true. DMV's DJ2 says, to Lex's point, folks who pay their bills DJing have to move differently than folks who can DJ on Twitch and don't gig to make a living. 100%. So,
1,000.
and you've given me some food for thought too, because I don't do everything right. So in this conversation alone, you made me think, oh, yeah, I'm definitely not present. I have a few raid trains where I'm present 14 hours, but then I just get burnt out because I chat a lot in the chat too, right? I'm present. But to your point and to DMV's point, that's very, very true. You're going to have differences, especially if you're doing it full time. So you gave me some food for thought, even with raids and supporting like better, that I wasn't even thinking of. So yeah, I thank you for that too, and it is true. You do have to hustle more if this is your bread and butter, right? As well. So in speaking of that, you guys make sure everyone, for the one person on Twitch that doesn't know DJ D-Lex, make sure you're adding him. Have you been on Tweak Show yet? I'm sure you have. Haven't you?
Nope.
Tweak Music Tip? Oh no. Okay.
No.
How you doing, Tweak Music Tip as well? We got DJ Peach UK. I know I could chop it up another couple hours with you, but I'm definitely probably going to wrap it up. It's been really refreshing, like learning about you and your journey and your background. And, I didn't know any of this stuff about you before. So I'm like really grateful you opened up and shared a lot more. It's nice, like learning more about you,
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, I'll leave you just if there's anyone in the chat that has some quick questions for him, drop it in the chat. DMVs also says, but there's a way to move. There's a code. Treat folks right. Karma comes back. That's one thing I was going to ask you, because the DJ community, we know how it is. We know how entertainment is. I know you've had a lot of good and bad, probably situations being in entertainment. What can you say to other DJs and streamers on how to work better, like authentically together, not fake,
Well,
not whatever?
If you want to think, you have to be with like-minded people. So if someone, in my opinion, wants to work with you and you see that their intentions is really just to benefit them, be mindful. Like Prodigy said this to me when he had me on Hip May opening up every morning. He says, hey man, I appreciate you taking this slot, but if a better opportunity comes, don't think you're hurting my feelings by taking it, because you're taking my opening slot. But if somebody wants to give you a slot in the afternoon to a better thing, just let me know, take it. Drew Williams said, be careful who you have on your raid trains. Not everybody's for your community or for your brand or for how you think. A lot of people will put a bunch of DJs together to work together, but they don't think the same. They don't even play the same music, nothing. So like, you have to be mindful of, like, if you're going to work with someone, just make sure that their goals align with yours a little bit. Don't use people to make yourself better. Like, I'm going to build up a community, but just so that I benefit, not everybody benefits, that type of stuff.
100%. Yeah. That's
a lot of people do that because they'll position themselves to get in a position to get bigger and better by building this team underneath them. But then once they make it up, they're not reaching down to bring anybody up to their level.
100%.
Like, let me help you. But then basically they're helping you until you got what you need and they stop. So only advice I can give you guys about moving on Twitch is just that not everybody's going to like you. Your channel's not for everybody. They're going to tell you don't stream every day. But if it works for you, why is it wrong? If it works for you, why is it wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if another guy can't stream every day and it doesn't work for him, then obviously he has to switch it up. But if I can stream every day, pay my bills, have a great community, take care of everything, and not get burnt out, what's the big deal? It's a streaming platform. There's plenty of people on here that stream every day for whatever reason they stream. It's your it's your page. Run it the way you want to run it. Don't let nobody tell you your page is wrong. You're not doing it right. This is the way such and such did it. That's what worked for him. Great. But guess what? He probably had the people to support him to make it work that way. It doesn't always work that way for everybody. So I tell everybody this is like find moderators and VIPs that truly support you and build your community around them. Build your community around them because that is your community.
Yeah, the mods are the MVPs, right? And they really do bring in other people more so. I find mods do.
Definitely. That is your community. So if you're catering to those people, then everybody else will see that, and that's what make them want to stay and hang out. Or if your friends or your moderators or your VIPs that are in there hanging out, same thing. It's like, oh shit, Honeyflow's here. Let's hang out. Like, let's hang out. Tweak Music Tips is in the chat. Let's hang out. Like, Noah's mommy. Oh my God, it's my friend from Utah. And let's hang out. Like, you see all the time when a raid happens. Oh my God, hey, yeah. Like, it's like you just walked into a club and just ran into somebody for the first time. So, but if you don't have a community that's engaging, like, you know, moderators that don't talk to everybody. Like, I had that problem before at one point where like I could tell certain mods were only saying hi to certain people and I had to tell them like, what's the issue? Or I don't like her. I said, well, I don't care if you don't like her, then you can't mod for me. Well, I have a problem with her in this room. I said, that's not a problem in my room. Don't bring that situation over here because that's whatever's happening over there.
Exactly.
You still say hello. Because if I moderate for somebody and somebody comes in that room that I really don't care for, I'm still hello, how are you? How's your day? Shout them out, whatever. I chose to take the sword. So if you chose to take the sword, you got to be nice to everybody. You know, you can't just say, well, I want this person banned in your room because I had a problem with them over here. Well, we don't have a problem with them over here. You know, they don't act that way over here. They were acting that way over there because of whatever's going on over there. So it's your page. It's your page. Run it as your page. Don't let anybody else tell you. Like, take advice, take constructive criticism, do that. But at the end of the day, you got to be happy with your page. You got to be happy 100%. With your product, your end result, all that. Because I know so many people who were trying to do it other people's way, and they hated it. You know, like, you know, I switched my times because they said this time didn't work good for me. Why didn't that work good for you? Well, I wasn't getting the views that I got, but I'm killing myself leaving work. Then don't change your time. Like, just like I said, I told my friend Damio, I told him, I said, just stick with that time. Stick with that time. And the other day I was in his room. I'm in Mexico and I have him tabbed up on my phone. I was in Mexico with my phone on Twitch like this while I was DJing. And I seen him get raided. And I put in the chat immediately. I was like, I'm so fucking proud of you. Told you. And he messaged me later. He was like, you're right, bro. You're right. He's like, I didn't like, because you don't see it. Those first weeks and months where it's like minimal viewership. And then all of a sudden people recognize, oh, you're there. Like Disco Darren. Same thing. He's on same time, same place all the time. The minute he's not there, when he comes back, he feels that. He feels when he comes back because he's coming back to that slot. But people will have to learn that he's there again. And it's consistency. Stay to that same spot. Like you, I think every day, Wednesday, 7 to 9, you can catch Honeyflow, give it a podcast, pull up.
But everything else is pop-ups because I canceled all my shows, all my other shows.
They know this is the one they can catch.
And you get a weird 5-hour show in the middle of the night. I just want to say, shoot. Wow. You
got rated.
9. K9 in the building. You guys, have you seen K9? DJ
my moderator.
Oh, that's your moderator? Oh,
yes,
I didn't know that. He is so freaking dope. You guys, I'm not even kidding. You guys have to add this guy. I want everyone in the room to add this guy. He's not only from my home city, Toronto, but I just saw his show. Finally got to see his show. He DM'd me ages ago, and I finally saw his show a couple nights ago, and I was actually very blown away. Like, this guy reminds me of a J Dilla, Slum Village, like kind of Dwelle all combined.
With a Canadian accent? But with the
Yeah,
Canadian
with the
accent?
Canadian accent. I actually have an idea for him, but this guy, you guys, this guy will take a sampler. He's in a studio. I don't know if it's his own studio, but he'll take a sampler and he'll start putting drums and sax. I was telling you, put saxophone and different instrumentals. He'll make beats. He produces beats, so he'll produce it on the spot. And he's got something really special in him, really, really special. When I watched his show, I was like, you know what? There's no one on Twitch that's doing a show like his. And I can't wait to interview him in June. So I want everyone in the room to add him. I'm not even just saying that. Like, and I appreciate your raid, 3K9. He seems like a great guy, and he'll freestyle. He'll just free. And I want a Honeyflow. I want before anyone copies me, I want a Honeyflow freestyle from you. Did he do that for you, Lex?
I already have one. Yeah, I have one.
All right. Well, I want one before you get too famous.
I don't have the one
3K9.
I requested. I have the one he just did when I was in his room and I took it. I requested one I haven't got. You'll probably get your request before mine.
Yeah, K9, you got to start like tagging everyone in Toronto. I'm not even like,
Come
I'm
on,
serious.
K9.
You got to start tagging Drake. I'm gonna keep bugging you. Tag Sean Desmond, Drake, all these guys in Toronto the weekend.
Then he needs to go to Kick because Drake's on Kick.
Oh,
He's
is he? I feel like
he gives out
got
100 gifted subs every time he goes live, like about 20.
Oh wow. What he should do is he
Him.
can also do covers like T-Pain is on Twitch.
T-Pain's on here. He'll
Yeah,
on
if
here.
you're an artist, like start using maybe their beats and do their covers and tag them and do a free. That's an idea. Do a freestyle
Or just remix
about
the
them.
song.
Exactly. That's how you get it, because this guy has a special show. I'm like, I was blown away when I saw his show. I really was, and I don't talk
came to my
about
chat for
anyone
3
like
months
this.
before I even knew he was streaming.
I thought he was like,
chat.
I didn't really, okay, to be honest, I didn't really check his message because I thought he was rapping like how I hear a lot of the new rappers today. And I'm like, it's probably going to be a little too ratchet for me. I'm like, I'm good. So I wasn't expecting, I was like pleasantly surprised when I watched his show. I was like, what? This is not what I was expecting at all. So, yeah, so
And
he's a
very
motivator.
engaging with the chat too.
He's very, very engaging because I was asking him a lot of questions and telling him to, yeah, sorry, I kind of prejudged on that one. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll check him later because I thought it would be like some grimy rapper. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into interviewing like that that's just not my show. But when I saw him, I was like, what? This is not what I was picturing at all. But anyways, make sure you guys add him, guys. He's something very special for sure. So going back to you, because I know I've just totally plugged this guy like nuts, because I really believe in him.
What do you think I do every show? I do the same thing. He always tells me like, why you do that? I say, because somebody's gonna hear you. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm gonna keep saying your name till somebody says, I want to sign this guy.
Like this guy is gonna be signed. Like he really is. And you better remember the little people like us, K9. That's all I gotta say, or I'll look for you on Instagram.
She will too. She'll find you.
Yeah, I'll find you, just like I found all of Lex's pictures with his curly hair. I threatened him to take his hair out of braids and to wear it down. And
true story.
I made the poor guy like run to the shower and like wet his hair to make it extra curly. So I owe you, Lex.
Super curly now.
Yeah, I owe you, Lex, for doing. I appreciate you for being such a good sport. I've never had.
Oh, this is a dope show. I've always, like I said, like when I watched Ashton on here, I've watched you a couple times, but I like your Ashton show is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, why? Ashton was fun.
I didn't, and I think because he surprised you with his answers. Like you were expecting one thing, and then he took another way. And I learned stuff about him on that show. And I talked to Ashton on the phone almost every day. So I was like,
I didn't know what to do with Ashton. I was so confused. Ashton does an awesome show too, guys. Like Ashton the Club, he's got high energy. I find he's really cute because he always like does something with his shorts. He's so fidgety. I don't know if he's using the stuff that you're using on your show. You know what I'm talking about, the stuff. And because he's so fidgety and crazy, and
he don't smoke or drink.
Oh, I thought he did. He always like yanking his shorts up to his chin and all like crazy.
I met Ashton on that same rage train I told you that I lost the people.
Yeah.
Remember I said we had Kobe 64 had said, hey, we needed one guy. It was an early slot. We couldn't find anybody. And he goes, I know this dude from Canada. I think he'd be really cool, but I don't know if he'll do it. So he said, yeah, he did. And I think I rated him. And he just in his boxers, first thing in the morning, he has the sleep mask on the forehead. This is how I met Ashton. This is how I rated him.
Tell him I'm
And
saying
then-
nice things about him because he's no longer tapping me anymore. So he could be upset with me yapping about his auto tapping.
Actually, I think he's not tapping anybody right now. He's dealing
Because
with
I always make jokes.
no, because
What's it?
he hasn't even been in my room. So if he hasn't been in my room, he's my mod too. So
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah,
you got the best mods.
I try to tell everybody. I got
Oh,
Miss Gigi, got No West Mommy, got K9.
I mean, my mods are the best, of course, you know, and my fake mods like this one. Oh, Cheryl Squad asked, what program does he use? I don't know. We'll have to ask him. We're not sure, but that might not
What
be
are you
a
using,
bad
K9?
program. No, no, the program that Ashton uses to tab up people. That might not be a bad idea. Like
Oh, I'll
that
send it
way
to you.
you remember. Oh, that way you remember.
If I send it to you, will you
Okay.
send it to her?
Okay. And then that way I'll always be on your show and Junie's show late at night when I go to sleep. I'll always be on there. But sometimes I do lurk. But if you guys get too wild,
you
then
definitely
I
lurk.
kind of head out the chat. And then I'm watching you like a stalker. Yeah. Well, maybe not like a stalker, guys, but you know what I mean.
I always know
Okay,
if my
so
hair's
we're
out, if my hair's down, you'll say something.
Yeah, I will now. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So we're definitely going to wrap up, but I just want to leave you with two fast questions here. Your bucket list. I mean, you've done so much. You've traveled around the world. You've lived in different places. You've DJ'd, you know, with big artists as well. Is there, you know, anything left on your bucket list that you would really, if you had no holds bar, all the money in the world, what would that look like to you for DJing?
For DJing? If I had no holds bar bucket list DJing, I'd open up a warehouse with studios inside of it that DJs could come be creative in this space.
Oh, that's cool. I've never heard that answer.
And I would cover all the cost of the Wi-Fi and everything, and I would just tell them that, you know, make it work. Like, you know, do what you got to do, because a lot of times guys just, and it's something simple like lighting or like, you know, the right inline mixer, you know, whatever, you know, but I think that guys that have money, a lot of money, they rather, like you said, invest it or this, that, whatever. But it's like they don't do nothing for the people that don't have the money, that want, like the K9s of the world. You know what I mean? Like actually, imagine K9 had a studio with everything he needed. I'm like, here, this is your room. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. You know, it's your space. You know, and if it feels popular enough, I'd open them up everywhere. Because think about this kid that wants to stream, but his mom can't afford to get him a laptop. My neighbor, God bless his soul, his son's 10, wants to be a streamer so bad. Comes over here all the time, wants to learn and do stuff. And, you know, I told him, I said, you know, he's like, no, I gotta get him all the stuff to do it. But parents don't even know where to start. And that's really content creation is really they're saying. And Forbes was saying probably the next 10, 15 years, like streamers and content creators are going to be on the Forbes list. Because some content creators are already making 100, 200. I mean, look at Shannon Sharp. He made more money doing the Cat Williams interview than he did in any contract he ever had when he was playing for Denver. And his biggest contract with Denver was $3.4 million, and he made between 3.6 and 3.9 million off one interview for basically about as long as our interview, and went viral on YouTube and everywhere else in the world. And his first check, because you know he didn't get more checks from that same interview that he monetized, was that. And because think about this, they're talking about taking the Super Bowl off of regular television, because there's people now, like you got streamers that get more views than the Super Bowl. So they're like trying to figure out other ways to do stuff. Look what Kanye did. Shot a video with his iPhone in the back of the limo, sent it to them, and they put it on there, and he turned a $7 million investment off his iPhone into, I think at the end of the day, he's pushing like 40 million he made off that. You know, so
yeah, you never know.
If I had unlimited money and, you know, I could do everything, My goal during COVID was weird. If the shit was not gonna end, I was gonna buy a van and do basically what Junie C's doing, but I was gonna pull up to streamers all over the country and do a podcast interview in the van and let them do a set.
Mhm.
And then go to the next one. Go to the
You need
next
to
one.
start podcasting. Like you need a
I start
show.
next month. I already told you. I told everybody
Yeah,
when I turned
yeah,
45 I was
exactly.
gonna do one. So I start next
Like
month.
just listening to you today, and being on with you this long, like you're good at talking and even if it's like that, I'm trying to like spin my wheels to see how I can get you how I can help you create like more for yourself instead of just relying on Twitch. I'm like always spinning my wheels in my mind. But another thing I thought when we were talking is obviously you give people like you solve a problem. You have to solve a problem basically, right? Since you're such
Mhm.
a good talker and you make it easy for people and you break it down, I think you'd be good at even teaching on YouTube. Like maybe teaching simple tutorials like how to stream or how to DJ or how to connect equipment or just different things like that or even just simple things, right? That because when you look at all those views, there's hundreds of thousands of views on how to use OBS. Like we're not just DJing, we've turned our shows into like TV producing. So you have all those skills behind you, right? And you're a good talker. I noticed that the first time I saw you on Skylight show when you were hosting with her. I'm like, yeah, this guy definitely has something special, minus like some ratchet behavior. I was hiding and watching you guys. But like I was like, wow, like he's very good at hosting and he's got a really good voice on the mic, like good presence. So I don't know. Those are just some ideas that come to mind. And then sponsorship, right? Getting sponsors for your show as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all like, I mean, Twitch Music Tips, when he started his show, that was his goal. Like he's I want to get sponsors, I want to get this, I want to get that, and it's ultimately the end game,
Mhm.
obviously. Um I do have full-time dad duties, so that's also the end
Mhm.
game. So I'm just planting seeds down because, like I said, the next 2.5 years, so I'll be getting out of this place and living on my island somewhere. You can come
Yeah,
visit Honeyflow.
or even teaching that, like it doesn't have to necessarily be DJing. I mean, you don't see a lot of dads taking care of how many kids kind of on their own too, and other people's kids too, right? So it could be also mentoring, right? Like mentoring kids or just how to be a good role model, how to be a better man, how to be a good father and having those tips, right? But anyway, sorry, my brain is now like going with things.
No, you're good.
But just an
You're
idea.
totally fine.
Yeah, no whisk mommies, like baby steps. But just different things because you don't see a lot of that, right? In like I'm not going to say men, but I'm saying a lot of men could probably look up to that, right? Or doing podcasts like DJ Mad Life. He does Brothers Keepers, which is an amazing podcast for men on mental health. And he's a DJ as well, too, right? And
Mhm.
he's doing amazing things in his community. There's lots of great men that are doing that, but I feel like those things are needed, like a platform's needed like that to open up and to help other people, right? And you've been through a lot. Like you just shared your story today. You have an incredible story of like grief and loss and the things you've been through that I think you could do more than like it's great being a party DJ and doing all that, but I feel like you have so much more in you
You
that
sound like TNT. I was
that
talking to
you
TNT
yeah,
one day. He goes, "When's the public speaking podcast start?" I said, "Shush."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So there
yeah,
was a
so I
serious
hope to
question
do
in the
it.
chat. It says, "What's the difference between a stream here and a podcast?" Well, a podcast can be streamlined after the fact, which can be done here, YouTube, wherever. But a stream is a stream. A podcast is one that's on demand somewhere else that you can listen to, or like can get replayed and replayed and replayed and replayed and replayed and replayed. And the thing about Twitch is your shit expires on Twitch, so you probably have to have a platform that can keep it up there for long periods of time. Mixcloud, SoundCloud, um, Spotify. Depends on what your content is. I mean, and if you do get enough sponsorship, enough viewership, you can get picked up by places that'll put your stuff out there. But
Yeah, for
ultimately,
sure.
ultimately, my podcast will be like yours. I'm gonna do YouTube, you know, all the different stuff and everything else, and then go from there. And hopefully it branches out and grows, and baby steps. But I will be setting up some. I'm in the process of learning some online tools to help with my stuff, and I'll be graduating from those courses next month, and then I'll be implementing those into more stuff, and hopefully just grow and grow and grow. And I'm not in a rush. I got time. I just really, with the money I make right now, streaming and DJing on the side and whatever else I got going on, like all the places I want to live, I can live there right now, and not worry about nothing. But right now I live in the country that, it's expensive, and I just happen to live in a city that's inexpensive. But the good thing about Twitch is I don't need to be in New York to touch New York. I don't need to live in Tokyo to touch Tokyo. I don't need to live in Paris to touch Paris. You just got to have an online connection and an audience, and then it will go where it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
A podcast on Friday. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to check out this girl Xtina. Actually, we're doing a curl special, a Jerry curl special this Friday. Thanks for reminding me.
Jerry curl special?
Yeah, so we're going to do all this songs because she knows how much I love curl. Obviously I do. I told you to take your braids out on this show today and show some curl. So we're going to be doing the best tracks, Jerry curl tracks, this Jerry curl jams. That's what it is. This Friday, she does a playlist show. It's awesome. On at 9 p.m. Eastern, guys. Okay. So we're definitely going to wrap up here because I can't believe it. I can believe it's been 3.5 hours with you. Wow.
You put 2 hours, I laughed. Honestly, when you put 7-9, I laughed at it. When I saw it, I was like, okay. It was
oh, really?
I didn't think I've never been on a show on Twitch that gave me. They said we're going to do a 2-hour show that went 2 hours.
Yeah, that's why I think. So do I. We both do.
Well, because if you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm going to give you the
No,
answer.
I know. And I like it. I like having longer conversations like this. I'm
a big believer in this. You didn't ask me your second question, by the way, but I'm a big believer in this, is that Shaq said it, and so did Busta Rhymes. I'm a big believer in people responding to me. So I try to respond to all parts of a message. I try to respond to all parts of things, because when I heard those guys say that they don't let any text go unanswered, no matter how small, because they say that if somebody has the ability to contact them, they gave them that ability, then they want that same ability to contact them. So I'm the same way. It's like, I don't care how big I get, if I did become a multimillionaire, whatever. I'm that person. If you send me a text, even when I'm streaming, I'll answer my phone during the stream. If it's somebody, and then, what is it important? No, okay, cool. I'm streaming. Oh, it's just this. Oh, just do this. All right, click, boom. Why? Because I took 5 seconds to answer his question, and now he don't have to wait 3 hours for me to answer him. And that's just how I feel. I just feel people definitely needs to, I think we live in a society now where people think they're just too big. Like you'll hit him. I hit him up on IG to ask him to be on, and he never hit me back. I was on Ratchet Tuesday, and there was a DJ on there. I'm not gonna say any names, but the guy that runs it reached out to the guy that was on the train, and he just stopped responding. But he's still streaming. Just tell the man you don't want to be on the raid train. You know what I mean? How hard is that? Just say, hey, I'm done. But
sometimes you can miss messages. I've literally gone back to messages after 2 years of people asking me to be on their trains. I missed them all. I'm still going through messages. I was like, oh shoot.
Well, you're a female. You're
responding
you get more
2 years
than
ago.
The average bear. I
wonder why they don't ask me anymore, because I never responded to them, but I didn't mean to.
Look, Jasmine Crystal. Jasmine Crystal does my taxes. She's my tax lady.
Oh, really? Oh.
She's been doing my taxes for the last 4 years.
Oh, nice.
Yep. If you ever need taxes done, hit up Crystal.
Yeah, definitely. So the last question I leave you with, I'm always interested in this question, is what would be on your life bucket list? Say if you had a short time here and you want to do something, like whatever it may be, like you had a month to live, like you want to make sure that's complete here on Earth. What would that look like to you?
I had a short time to live, and I could do whatever I wanted to leave it
Like not
behind.
DJing, not music wise,
Yeah,
just
I
life
got you.
in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that was why the first question was what it was. So, um, the second, honestly, it's homeless shelters, probably something like it's sad that our country will take care of the immigrants that come in our country, but they got people living there their whole life and don't have some place to live. I think free healthcare doesn't fix anything, so I wouldn't think that. But I think if you just, at least for the cold places, especially a lot of people, we have a lot of homeless here in Arizona because of the weather. They live
Mhm.
here because of the weather, but I'm just like, we just sent $200 billion to Israel when we could have just took care of hunger in our country. That
Mhm.
simple. So it depends on how much money I had, but I've been homeless. I've slept on a park bench before. That's a story
Wow.
for another time.
Mhm.
I was probably the lowest point of my life, and I needed the hard love from some people, but the people who I really thought were always going to be there weren't there. And after being homeless like that and bouncing back, and obviously back on my feet, you know, I tell my kids the story, and they always tell me, they're like, like, what made you not quit, or not? Because I could see how people give up. I can see how people like fuck it, whatever. And I said,
Mhm.
well, I knew I wasn't built for that. I said, I just, between going through my divorce and it was just a bunch of shit happened all at once, and I realized I don't have a place to live, and I didn't have a place to go, so I went to the park. I took showers at the gym. I met a friend from high school. We went to lunch. She brought a friend. That friend got my info on Facebook, messaged me, asked me what I was doing, and I told her I was sitting at the park waiting to take a nap. And then she was like, "What?" So I told her the story. She pulled up at the park, picked me up, gave me a place to sleep for 2 weeks, let me use her car for 2 weeks. And by the end of 2 weeks, I had a job, a house,
Mhm.
and a
Wow.
car. But, sometimes being at your lowest, all it takes is one person taking 5 minutes of their time. So if I had the money and resources, I had limited time to live, I would just try to help as many people as I can. We used to feed the homeless out here every year. For Christmas, we do a DJ show. We bring lights and give them a little party. The city shut us down, said we can no longer feed the homeless unless we got a permit to feed them. We're feeding them for free, and we couldn't afford the permit because all the money goes into that. So if I had the money, I would just try to take care of as many people as I can who I know can't take care of themselves. I
Mhm.
literally was crossing the border yesterday, and I saw 20 people getting pulled out of the desert, babies, everybody who have nowhere to go. And I'm just like watching them, and I'm sad because I'm like, these kids are going to get separated from their parents, because that's what they do. They put the kids on one side, women on one side, men on the other side, when literally they could just walk them back 20 feet and walk them across the border. But
Mhm.
the way our country works is we can't do that. So I see too many people that, like, anywhere I go, it's like my dad took me all over the world, and everywhere he took me over the world, he always took me to the ghetto. He always took me to the ghetto. We went to Saipan, I went to the ghetto. In Singapore, I went to the ghetto, fish market, wherever. And he would take me there because he showed me all the beautiful shit. But he would say, "You need to understand, behind all this, there's always this."
Mhm.
And by seeing that and my grandparents are missionaries in Nogales. They've built like 7 or 8 churches,
Oh,
and
that's super
I've
dope.
I've helped them with that over the years. They've been there since the late early '90s,
Mhm.
and we still go down there and help them. They live 45 minutes up the road, and cartels don't even mess with my grandparents because they
Really?
know they're taking care of the community.
Wow.
Like, and that just shows you, like, if you give even the big dogs and those guys, the gangsters, they gonna, because even those guys give. Even
Mhm.
those guys try to give back to the community, give out turkeys, do this, do that, whatever, because they know that nobody else is looking out for those people. Like, there's all these, like, I'm a vet, and
Mhm.
I've met so many guys on the streets that are vets that literally all we had to do was help them get to the VA, talk to a few people, and now they got a bed. But nobody has to do that, so all right, no wish, see you later. But you know, every story has three sides, so we won't get into all that. But if I had the money, I would take care of as many people as I could.
That's an
And
awesome
because
answer.
I
I like
can't take
that.
it with me.
Yeah,
I can't if I'm dying and I got a bunch of money,
true.
and I'm sure if I'm at that point in life, my kids are good. So my
Mhm.
dad said this to me after my kids were born, to me and my brother in my living room. I'll never forget this. I'm not leaving you and your brother anything when I die, by the way. We're like, okay, I'm leaving it to them. And he pointed at my kids. He's like, because I can't be there for them when I die, but I've been there for you guys as long as I can. And then that stuck with me. Like, and I respect the hell out of that. I'm like, well, that makes sense. So I kind of the same way. It's like, if I know my kids are good, and if I don't have any grandkids, I know they're good, then who can I help? I mean, philanthropy is a real thing. Like, why most billionaires give away their money when they die? Because they can't take it. Almost all, I mean, Shriners, all those foundations started because some guy that had a lot of money was passing away and he didn't
Mhm.
want to, can't take it with him. So start something. But
Yeah.
that'd be my goal. That's what I would definitely. Would you like me to redeem the fur
No,
coat?
don't listen to her because I'm not gonna waste time and do that anyways. I'm just gonna ignore her today.
No problem.
Wow.
But that's what I would
But
do. I would just try to give
right.
back as much as I can because you can't take it with you. Like that's
Yeah,
there's nothing. I wouldn't try to take no crazy trip or have some last hoorah or nothing like that. It's just leave something that stays behind that they'll know because 20, 30, 50 years, they're not going to talk about Lex anymore, but they might talk about the building that I left.
exactly. Well, you better get ready because you're on your way, you know? And the reason why I like asking people that question because it gets them thinking. It gets them thinking that it could be achievable. Like you don't have to wait. It starts getting
Mm.
people usually say travel or I think I've only heard one person out of the 200 people I've interviewed so far that has said I'm doing it right now, like I'm living, or they'll say family, just spending time with family. Another one, the one person, I can't remember who it was, but that really stood out to me saying that, hey, Honeyflow, I'm actually living the life and doing it right now, right? Just being in the present, being in the present moment. And that stuck out because a lot of times we're not there where we don't just live in the present and do that now. And sometimes we don't
I
need
don't look
massive
at yesterday
resources.
ever. I
Mhm.
can't. I spent my entire marriage being judged by my past or being 10 years later still being brought up shit that I did. But I'm like, dude, I was like in my 20s or I was in my 30s. Like, I'm not even that
Mhm.
person anymore. I'm
Mhm.
not even the person I was at 40 and I'm 40, about to be 45. It's so I tell everybody the same thing. It's like, nah, like I get in front of this camera and I do what I do every single day because it's the greatest joy of my life. And my kids get a joy by watching me do what I love. I sent you the video of my daughter, you know, jumping
Yeah,
on
I have to
stage,
check
having
it.
a
I
good
didn't
time. And
get a chance to
yeah,
download
and
it.
that energy is the energy that like my kids get when they're in my presence when I'm doing what I love.
Mhm.
Like since I was a kid, I used to it's just funny you say this. I was live streaming in my house in like 2015 and my kids were all there and they were doing the Cupid Shuffle and it's on the video and I'm live streaming, but I'm live streaming. All the kids are over here doing the Cupid Shuffle and hanging out, having a good time. And they've always been that like, are you live streaming? You're gonna go live? You're gonna DJ? Like, if I'm gonna do a concert, which concert is it? Where's it at? My daughter's sad because she was real shy, not into a lot of things when she was younger. And now that she's older, she's like, oh, I wish I went to all those concerts. He's
Mhm.
my son. He won't even go in the crowd anymore. He's like, if you're not backstage, I don't want to go.
Hmm.
He's spoiled.
Aw. Yeah, so I just saw this message. DJ Straight said it was pretty much meant for him to drop in here because, like you're helping him right now. He's going through some stuff. So that's why I think you really should do more, not
Yeah,
just a
man.
podcast
Like
show.
I
Like
will. I will
you
definitely.
have
But
the
you're going
capability
through
to
something,
like
bro.
help people.
Just I tell everybody the same thing, man. Like, and me and Noah's mom had this conversation before. Where I'm like, today seems like it's the worst day of your life, but almost 90% of us, and I'm gonna say 90% because there's 10% that don't, are gonna make it to tomorrow.
Mhm.
90% of us are gonna make it. The other 10%, that's just their time. But the 90% of us are gonna make it to tomorrow. So whatever's holding you back today, it's going to be a little less stressful tomorrow and a little less stressful the day after that and the day after that, because people always look at me like I'm crazy. Like, my kids, how you stay so calm, cool, and collective all the time. I said, you know how many times I'm ready to lose my shit? I said, but this right here, I've literally had my glasses on with tears in my eyes streaming, because I'm going through what I'm going through. But about 20, 30 minutes into my stream with my chat, it's like whatever I was worried about, for some reason, it kind of just faded away. And I might not even hear about it or think about it till like the next day. And then at that point, I'm like, why was I so stressed out about it? Because at the end of the day, there's only one person that can hurt you, and he's up top. And as long as you live in the right life, it's the hardest thing in life is that we want to say that we want to fix something. Well, guess what? Think about every time you try to, your life's falling apart and you were trying to fix it or put a Band-Aid on it or had the best intentions and it still fell apart, because that wasn't, God needed to let that go because a bigger miracle's coming or bigger blessings coming, but you're fighting him on the blessing because you're too busy trying to, I want to keep this blessing.
Oh, 100%. I can relate
But
to
you gotta
that
let
one.
those blessings go, man. Like, you gotta let them go.
Mhm.
And I've in all these years, in 2008, I had to let my house go in 2010 because the economy dropped. $400,000 house. I lived by George Strait and freaking David Robinson and Sean Elliott, and even LaGuardia. We shopped at the same shopping center, but I had to make a choice. I got rid of that, and now I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. And every year of my life I've downsized, and everybody's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I've had everything taken from me, and when it's all gone." For a moment, it hurts, but after it's gone, it's like you almost forget about it again. But then why was I so upset? Everything I own is replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I own could be gone tomorrow, and I can get it all back in next week. And living on that park bench and doing what I did really put things in perspective. Losing a marriage, dealing with everything I've dealt with. Going to war, working in the oil field. I've worked in the salmon boats in Alaska. I've worked in the can refinery in Alaska. And, I've had some of the craziest, dangerous jobs in the world, and I've had some of the best jobs in the world. And guess what? At the end of the day, the next day, the clock still keeps moving. It doesn't stop. So why do we keep trying to stop it? That's what makes us go crazy. Is we try to stop time.
For sure. And it's character building, right? It's character building when you go through losses, loss of a job, loss of people, loss of pretty much everything. You look back and you realize that you couldn't have done it all on your own. Like, God is definitely present and he's there, and he's there to help us, right? There to help you. I was going to say DEEJAY3XX. If you're going through some stuff, you got a link. I don't know if you know Father Damien, but it was at DEEJAY3XX. I think I got it right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I hope you can link with Father Damien. He's also, I think, lurking or in the chat. He'd be a great resource to talk to. He's helped so many people on Twitch, including myself. So I hope you guys can link together. He's an awesome guy too. That could probably definitely help too. So
The expression
yes.
in my home, we say lessons and blessings. That's the expression in my house. We all say lesson. Everything in life is a lesson or a blessing. Sometimes it's both.
Yeah, sometimes it's both. That's so true. King Melody, how are you doing? Says, time waits for no man. Let's see. No Whisk. Mommy says it's all a lesson. We all have different lessons we need to learn. So true. Sometimes those are hard lessons, though. Trials and losses can be the most difficult, right? And to encourage someone else, right? We go through things to help and pull other people up that are going through the same thing, that can't really feel like they have another day. That's kind of our mission. And that's our mission as streamers too, right? It's not just about ourselves and, hey, look at me and DJing, but it's really to like help impact because there's everyone that comes to our chats, someone's going through something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know that, I mean, I've gotten countless DMs of people going through things. So if we know that, then we know that music is also therapy too, for people, and our shows and laughter, whatever your show brings, right? So
a priest once said, music is the only thing you can't stop from penetrating your soul. He says it's the only thing. He says you can stop words, you can stop emotions, but for some reason he said music is the one thing. That's why they sing in church and other places. He says because he says you can't fight it. Like if that song hits you, it hits you. There's nothing, you cannot fight it.
Yeah, for
And that
sure.
and that's
So
and
true.
that's what people don't realize. That's why people say, "Why you love music so much?" I said it can penetrate your soul without even trying. It can literally
Mhm.
change your whole day. Think about it. You can get in your car, hear the station, hear a song you haven't heard in forever, and take you to one of the best days you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like whatever you was dealing with is gone because you're like now you're vested in that moment.
It brings you back to those moments, like even the 90s and how you grew up. Like, I think that's why I share so many stories. They just come to me, right? Like when you listen to a song, it just brings you back to a moment in time too. So definitely like a great memory, right? So that's why they say it's good for patients with dementia and seniors and people in retirement homes, like that may have lost their memories, like that sparks something in them, right? So music is powerful. We should have been
They've
essential workers too, right?
they've
Because I
said
think we were.
that like autism is like the new spectrum of intelligence,
Hmm.
that they can see music, the colors of music. Some people
Interesting.
on the spectrum, they said they literally can see. Some autistic kids have said like they'll hear a song, but they're like green, red, blue, like you're like, what are you talking about? But they're
Mhm.
seeing the music, like so they see it as it's almost like you ever heard somebody looking at somebody say they see an aura around that person, like
Mhm.
orange or yellow or blue, whatever. It's the same thing with music. They said that when people hit a certain spectrum in autism, they said that they don't hear music anymore; they see it.
Like I see right now, I see like green around the curly hair. Like I see green, like a aura, like it's like green around the curly hair.
You
So I
just
don't know
focus on the
if
curly hair. You're not even focused on the green.
yeah, I'm just joking. Oh man, we got to get going. This is like,
Look at that.
wow.
Father Damon. Just today, I had 5 people from Twitch in the first half of my day whispering me, asking for prayers. That's beautiful,
That's
Father
amazing.
Damien.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's definitely doing, what he's called to do, which is amazing. So yeah, definitely DM him, you guys, if you just need to feel uplifted, need some prayers as well. He's definitely a
Or
great.
just go check him out because he's fun. He's a lot of
And
fun.
if you need free controllers, all up on
And
our
live in
David's like,
Canada.
cut it,
And
cut
live in
it.
Canada.
He gave me a controller, eh? That's why I
I'm
almost
sure it was
fucked up
given to
last time.
him. God
No,
damn.
he buys them. He buys all of them. It's like I shouldn't say that live because people will find out where he lives, and we don't want them robbing his place. But he's got more controllers than any
He,
other DJ I know. He's
he's
got 10.
he's protected. He's protected.
Yeah, he's protected. You're right. You're right. He also works for the police force, guys. York
So
Region
good luck with
Police.
that. Thank you so much, Peach.
Yeah, exactly.
Is your
So I
friend
was
on
gonna
that you're gonna raid?
I was gonna ask. I wasn't sure if I was going back to you or if I was rating them.
Well,
Like,
you said you wanted to raid somebody from your
oh,
international women's. Yeah.
yeah, it's International Women's Month, but I wasn't sure if you wanted. I couldn't remember because I didn't hear back from you what we
No.
were
It's
thinking.
early, so
You
we can
okay?
do that, and I'll go on later if you have something.
Oh, okay, okay. You know what? We're gonna raid her, guys. It's DJ Jen. We've been working together. She's been helping me out on a lot of questions. I think she's sticking around a little bit later. I was gonna ask if we were gonna raid into DLEX for an after party or raid her for International Women's Month. She really has helped me out this month, you guys. We're doing 4 panels of women, which is close to 40 women. It's been a lot of work. Some mistakes along the way for sure that I'm still trying to work larger panels. But she's helped me with questions. She's helped me with graphics. She's a firm believer in supporting women. She does trains that are called Rising Queens. So ever since she started Twitch a few years ago, she's been supporting women like myself and others. So I just want to give that support back, especially for International Women's Month, and show her, hey, we're here for her as well. Um, so it's DJ Jen, guys. She's from Brooklyn, New York. Definitely like an MC Late when she talks, for sure. Trying to get her to rap or to start freestyling, like freestyle battles. But yeah, definitely stick around for her, you guys, even if it's for a few minutes. I know it will really help and also Selectress Mistress Kush. She's doing a lot. The whole every single day she's doing raids for women and supporting women. They're very big advocates on that, especially women in entertainment. So yeah, that would be good. What time are you on? I can't believe you're still going to go on too, DJ Lex.
It's only 7:45 here.
Oh my gosh. Oh, maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why I don't catch you enough. But I'm going to try to make it a point. Even
I
if
usually try to go
set
on
an
at
alarm.
midnight.
'Cause it's
At
11
midnight
o'clock
my
here.
time.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and the only reason is because my biggest demographic is Europe and Australia.
Mhm.
So being on at those times, I get my max viewership because they're the ones that really come and support.
Mhm. Okay. I think
You
yeah,
interviewed Let's Bring Lunch.
if you interview Lex, bring a lunch. Oh gosh.
What's the
Yeah.
name of the girl you're rating?
Oh, it's DJ Jen. Do you know her? DJ Jen
I might.
out of New
I'll
York?
check.
DJ_Jen. So I was just messaging. And I appreciate that. I thank you for
JEN.
or it's DJ and then underscore Jen. Let's see here. I try to put in the chat for you guys so you could see it. We'll rate into her. So yeah, definitely stick around, support her. She's been working really hard on these panels. Oh, I can't do a shout out. Oh well.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody, man.
Yeah. So I just want to. Sorry, I can't. This is why I'm horrible at.
I was like, "What is that?"
I don't know. This is why I would never make it as a mod. But I just want to thank you so much, DJ Lex. This has been like honestly such a refreshing interview with you.
Thank you.
Not the way I expected. I just thought it would be pretty much like a normal DJ interview. So I'm like actually very surprised. I know I could chop it up another like 5 hours with you for sure.
Well,
But
I'll
I
have you
think
on my show next time. How about that?
all right, that's a deal. That's good. That's good.
Perfect.
If you want me to do anything with my hair, just let me know. I'll
Oh, don't say that. No, we'll talk later. I'll get Junie C on that panel.
I don't. Oh no, I don't want Junie C on that. I don't got much hair, but you know, I could. Since I forced you
Junie
to
C will
take
give
out
us
your
great
braids,
ideas. He'd be like, "We can do this."
I feel like I have to owe you now because I literally made the guy take out his braids that he just spent money braiding them. So now I definitely got to owe you back. You
As I
know.
always say, it's just money.
Yeah. I'll owe you your $11. Your $11 pesos, is it? I'll owe that back.
No,
Canadian.
I don't know. It was 11 US. I usually just give him a 20 because it's
11
like
US. That's like $30 Canadian. Okay, I'll have to figure
well,
that out.
my hair here to get braided is like 60 US. So do that math.
Sheesh. Well, I bet you never had a girl pay for your hair ever before.
No
Have
comment.
they? Oh, they have? Oh, they probably just did your hair for you. Oh, maybe they paid.
No,
Oh,
I had a
yeah.
girl pay for my hair before.
Oh, they paid for you to get your hair done? Oh, wow. Jeez. I never had anyone pay for my hair to get my hair done or like anyways, yeah. Another topic. Hot devils is like one like this. I don't know. Anyways, maybe you mean something else. Maybe I'm not getting it. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out after this interview. Okay, guys, let's go to DJ Jen, you guys. This is going to take a far left turn. I don't know what you guys were laughing at, so my mods will have to interpret after. But again, thank you so much for this interview. It was so much fun doing it with you. I'm definitely going to have you on again. I think you're awesome, and I wish the best for you too. I really do. I really think everything you accomplish is gonna. I really believe it's going to happen for you.
Tina.
So, yeah,
I'm gonna check you Friday, Tina, 9 p.m.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a fun. That's going to be a fun show. I want to interview your.
You know what you need to do? You need to get DJ Peach, newest Twitch partner, on your show.
All right. Yeah, for sure.
Today. He just got his check today.
I honestly don't even know. I think this the first time I've seen his name actually. I don't know. I gotta check him. DJ Peach. I gotta check you. All right. And congratulations on making partner too. So we're gonna rate out. Is there anyone you could give shout outs while we're rating out as well? Oh, I think we are rating.
Just catch us on Sunday service on this Sunday, and that's pretty much it. Do Pop Rock on Thursdays. I am on Block Party tomorrow for my first Tall Man Brian's my debut. And then Hippo May on Friday in the morning.
And tonight, right?
I'm on every night for Red Light. Red Light District on every night. Every night. If I miss that, it's because I decided to take a nap or My kid wanted to do something.
Okay, so make sure you guys check them out, guys, tonight. Check out DJ Jen. Everyone in the room, I want them to make sure they add DJ Lex. You know, if anyone wants to pay for his hair to braid it back up.
Ron Love said, if you never had a guy do your hair, you're hanging with the wrong people.
Oh, well, DJ Ron Love, like, let me know. Let me know what's going on here then. Yeah, because they don't do that out here. So I would.
Oh, your girl's going in right now. She's singing. She got a fur coat on and everything.
Yeah, she got a fur coat. Oh, she's singing? I've never heard her sing before. Okay, so I'm going to try one more time to raid into her. So again, oh gosh, I'm going into whispers trying to do a raid. This is why I'd never make it.
Oh, you already rated out. It rated out.
I know, but it leaves people behind though. So I feel like a lot of times I got to rate a few times.
You rated with 41.
Oh, so okay. Sometimes it leaves people. Like right now, it's saying
I rated my 4 out, and because I was rating you like every 30 minutes, I would rate you.
Oh gosh, I didn't even see that. You did? Oh, well, thanks for rating me.
I brought all the viewers from my page to your page, so every 30 minutes I let people get in there, then I shoot them over here.
Oh wow. Well, thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. I didn't realize you were doing that the whole show. I have to look at another computer.
Your moderator did. She kept thanking me.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Yeah, but grab something to eat. You know, you said you're on, was it 12 o'clock? I'm trying to see if I could stay up.
No, that's all right.
You're on in an hour? You're on in an hour?
Probably. I'll probably jump on an hour.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for such a great interview. Honestly,
thanks for having me. This was fun.
I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites because then everyone else will be like, hey, but honestly, I enjoyed like really learning more about you. I'm kind of surprised.
Well, thanks for asking real questions. A lot of times I get these interviews and it's like the same rhetorical ask question.
Well, I feel like I didn't even ask half of the questions that I had. I had like probably 50 questions. I felt like it was more like a conversation tonight. Like I didn't even ask you anything like at all.
Well, like I said, we'll have to have a round 2.
I know. So, but I do feel like people learned more about you, which is good.
And they did. I got a lot of messages and people telling great interview, good job. You know, I'm loving it, you know.
Yeah, definitely great interview. All right. Well, have a great night. I think I'm going to try. Okay. I think some people are lurking here. They're being nosy. They're like, oh my God. Sorry.
Right,
I
got to shut off mine anyway. So
yes. Okay. Well, I'll see you soon. Have a good night as well.
You too. Thank you for having me. Adios.
Okay. Take care. Bye. Oh, I'm left alone here now, guys. Okay. See you guys. I'll see you in Jen's channel. Great interview. Wow. I learned a lot about him today, guys. I thought that was honestly one of the best interviews, just learning about him. It was amazing. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go and I'll see you guys in Jen's channel. So I'll see you later.